Hey everybody, and we are live. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for joining. Tonight's debate is between Conspiracy Catz and myself, Flatzoid Protective, and it's going to be evidence for a flat earth and evidence for a glow earth. I really hope you guys do enjoy it. It's going to be hosted by FTFE, and the moderator is going to be Johnny Q. Yeah, so thank you all for coming. Please, if you haven't already, please just hit that like button and the share so we can get the show to more people. You guys are awesome. Thank you again for all my Patreon supporters, all my members of the show, and all you awesome people that are here. Thank you very much for being here. I will maybe have an after show afterwards, and then I will read the super chats afterwards. Thank you guys all for being here. You guys are awesome. I'm going to shush now as we're going into the intros. Thanks, guys.
Hey, I'm FTFE. Welcome back to the channel that does to stupidity what Black Adam does to every single person that he disagrees with. I've just noticed my mic is peaking, so give me 1 quick second to sort that out, because that's not great. How is everyone doing? We have a fantastic debate lined up tonight. We have someone who is probably one of the hottest flat earthers on the scene right now, and his name is Flatzoid. He's been on the channel a couple of times. All right, sorry, 1 sec. Just getting that down. There we go. Sorry, that should be sorted. Yeah, we have Flatzoid on the flat earth side, who is he's been on the channel a few times recently, debated me about gravity and about what science is. And I thought they were pretty good discussions. He's been doing a lot of live streams on his channel recently, which are actually very interesting to watch. And it's interesting to watch Flatzoid when he's doing his streams, because he questions himself quite a lot, which is something you don't see a lot of flat earthers do. On the globe side tonight, we have the one, the only Culture Catz with us. On the globe side, Catz has not been on the debating scene for a while, and he's making his return tonight. Moderating is the amazing Johnny O from the Plot Hole. So let's just get everyone introduced. Here we go. Hello everyone, how are we doing? Johnny.
Awesome.
Hey, how's it going?
Right, Johnny is going to be in charge tonight, because I'm not the best person to moderate, because, you know, I mean, you guys have watched hundreds of my streams, you understand why. So I thought I would get someone who is very good at being impartial, moderated a couple of debates for me already, Johnny O. If you haven't subscribed to Johnny O on the Plot Hole, then please go and do that. Very close to 12,000 subscribers on the way, isn't it?
Yeah, I think about 350 off, or 250.
Nice. Well, if you guys haven't subscribed to the Plot Hole, there's already about 300 watching, so please go and do that, and let's see if we can get him over 12K tonight. Johnny, thank you very much for agreeing to come and do this. Why don't I just pass it over to you?
All right. How's everybody doing? Yeah, this is going to be some fun. I haven't had the opportunity to wrangle in Baldy Cats in a long time. So, well, I don't think I've ever wrangled in Baldy Cats for a long time. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. Should be interesting. We're going to start this out with a simple coin toss to decide who goes first. I have my Irish harp coin that was given to me by the Irish Demon. It looks like Chuck E. Cheese money to me, but whatever. So, just so we know, so everybody can see, this is going to be the head side. I don't know if you can see very well. All right, there's heads. And make sure we got this right. I would hate to. There we go. And this will be the tails side. And boom. So I believe it's heads, Conspiracy Catz goes, or Baldy Catz starts, tails, Flatzoid starts. Is that correct?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
We've agreed on the terms.
100%.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. It is heads.
That's me, innit? Look at that. Back out of retirement.
Well, cat always falls on its feet, isn't it?
I think
yeah.
So. All right, so we're going to go over the rules of this little soiree. Standard format. Generally like to run it my way, but we have a little bit. It's a little bit different. We're going to do 5 minutes each for intro and state your position. And then 10 minutes for your initial presentation, then 10 minutes for rebuttal, and then we'll get into an open discussion Q&A. Now, I would ask that everybody be respectful of each other. I'm looking at you, Flatzoid, and let the other person speak. And don't worry, I promise to hold everybody accountable for the questions that are actually asked. I will do the best that I can to stay out of the middle of this debate. The only time that I will come in is if I need to ask a clarifying question. If I feel your point is too vague or if your response is too vague, I will ask you to clarify. Other than that, this is going to be you two guys.
Awesome, thanks. Looking forward to it.
All right, so seeing as how Catz is in the fire, is a frying pan? Yeah, you're in the frying pan. Let me get this here. There we go. I'm usually much more prepared than this, but it's been an interesting day today, so there we go. No, that's not what I want. All right, whenever you are ready, as soon as you start speaking, your time will begin.
So just to be clear, this isn't my presentation that I prepared. This is just an introduction about me.
This should be, yeah, your introduction. You're going to tell us about who you are, what you do, why you're here, okay, so on and so forth. You got about 5 minutes for that.
So I've had a number of different channels. Some people may know, some people might not. On every channel I've had, I'd call myself Catz, some version of Catz. Either the Conspiracy Catz or GCSE Maths and Science Catz, I've had Baldy Catz, Conspiracy Catz, and now Culture Catz is where I am. That's where I can be found. And the reason I have the name Catz in all of those is, people often ask me, like, why have you got cats in all those? And really the answer is that I just love shitting in my neighbour's garden, and I think it sums me up, you know, absolutely to a T. You know, I'm quite good at climbing trees as well, but if I can take a big dump in someone's flower bed, nothing makes me happier. I'm going to take a big dump in Flatzoid's flower bed tonight. I hope he doesn't take it personal, but I do hope that, I'm just making this up the top of my head, but I do hope that the nutrients that I leave will allow his flowers to blossom and grow into something a little bit outside of science denial. I just made that up at the top of my head. Essentially, the channel I've got now doesn't really deal with flat Earth much. I would love to tell you what the channel I've got now is about, but I can't because I don't really know. When you look at it, you'll see I've done all sorts of different stuff, and I change my mind week to week. So I suppose that's what I do. I just do what I feel like on that week. But not really flat Earth. And the reason I've walked away from flat Earth, and I'm going to bring this up in my presentation, is because it's become an extremely dishonest environment. The honest flat earthers who maybe are brought into it for certain reasons, whether they be religious reasons or whether they be just a lack of scientific understanding or ability to reason, but the ones that are genuine will do their own kind of research, if you like, behind the scenes and find a way out of it. But then there are flat earthers, prominent flat earthers on YouTube who are just extremely dishonest in the way that they operate, the way they deny science, the way that they don't ever even consider actually learning anything ever, you know. And it just became quite a boring scene, really. Once I'd had my fun, it was great, but it's time for me to move on to something else. But I am looking forward to coming out of retirement tonight. I've waffled on too long. I should have prepared something for that, but I'll just leave it there.
Okay, thank you, Catz.
All right, absolutely. Flatzoid, whenever you are ready, your 5 minutes will begin as soon as you start speaking.
Yeah, I'm just as Catz. I didn't really prepare for introduction, but I'm Flatzoid's Perspective. I have a Flat Earth channel. It's relatively been serious this last few months. I've been taking it more seriously. I do run Flat Earth content, as you see, and I'm doing streaming much more, thanks to all the help from my generous supporters on the show. I really do appreciate it. I like debating. That's hence why I'm talking to Catz tonight. Tomorrow night it's going to be McToon, and hopefully next week Mr. Sensible. So I'm not scared to debate anybody. I'm simply, my channel's about my perspective and my view on the world. And yes, that is about Flat Earth. Obviously, I'm very vocal on what I believe, and I am not going to back down if someone's going to challenge me, let's put it that way. And I'm an open book. I try and stay as honest as I can to show everybody who I am. And yeah, I'm from South Africa, if nobody has realized that. So please excuse the accent if you don't understand sometimes what I'm talking about. Yeah, and that's about it. If you guys really want to look me up, just go look up my channel and you'll see I've got a whole bunch of demonstrations and so forth. And yeah, like I said, I didn't prepare an opening statement about that. So thanks very much.
All right. As we are now, it is time for Baldy Catz. Catz. We're just going to call you Catz because you have too many monikers. Whenever you are ready, your presentation starts now. Whenever you're ready. Oh, hang on a second. We don't have any audio.
Look at that. That was flawless, wasn't it? I put myself on mute out of politeness and then didn't take myself off. Okay, sorry. Are we good to go? All right, I said before that this for me is all about honesty, and that's exactly what I'm going to mean. I'm going to be repeating that throughout the entire debate, the theme of honesty. This debate started with FTFE asking me if I would accept a debate with Flatzoid, if he was up for it on his channel. There was an email exchange you can see on the screen. The topic of the debate, you can see, was agreed. We would each bring 3 pieces of evidence for our, for Flat Earth or for Globe Earth. And Flatzoid said to me, we've got to define what we mean by evidence. So I, rather than get into a big argument about it, we just decided to settle on what you can see at the bottom there. Repeatable and reproducible observations or measurements that support or validate the idea that the Earth is flat, or in my case, the Earth is globe, without contradicting other world observations, right? That's what we decided to go with. Now, let me show you, first of all, how honest I can be. I can look at a picture like this, and I can honestly say, would I be able to expect to see something like that on a flat Earth? Is that what I would expect to see on a flat Earth? I suppose it probably is, yeah. I suppose with a bit of topography, I suppose I'd expect to see that on a flat Earth. I would also expect to see it on a globe Earth as well. Absolutely. A globe Earth of the size we've got, that could fit either model. I'm quite honest to say that. This is the same. Would I honestly be able to expect to see that on a globe Earth? 100%. But I'd also not be able to say I wouldn't expect that on a flat Earth. That's honesty. The clouds. Can I honestly say that it would only fit a globe Earth? No, I can't say that. Maybe I'd expect to see that on a flat Earth. All right, get the picture. Honesty. Then we might look at some wind turbines. Whoops, what's going on here? Not these wind turbines, because these wind turbines were taken from a website I found about a future wind farm. These are CGI wind turbines put on for a picture for a future wind farm, because that's not actually what real wind farms look like. Real wind farms look like this. Would I expect to see this on a globe? Hell yes, of course I would expect to see this globe. And I will be asking Flatzoid in the debate, would you expect to see that on a globe? And I am expecting an honest answer of yes. And if I don't get an honest answer of yes, if I hear somebody say no, I wouldn't expect to see that on a globe, then we're going to really start to examine the honesty of the flat earther. Because that is exactly what you'd expect to see on a globe. Would I expect to see that on a flat earth? Underwater wind turbines stirring up the fish? No, I would not. So I will absolutely 100% be asking Flatzoid and holding his feet to fire, would he expect to see that? Yes or no? Be honest. Would I expect to see this on a globe? Hell yes, of course I would. Would I expect to see it on a flat earth? No. And all I'm going to be asking Flatzoid is the same thing. Are you honest enough to say, yes, if the earth was a globe, that's exactly what we would expect to see? Or are you going to somehow try and avoid answering the question? Would I expect to see that, an underwater city and half the sun underwater on a globe? Hell yes, that is exactly what I expect to see on a globe. Would I expect to see it on a flat earth? No. But I will be asking Flatzoid directly, would you expect to see that on a globe? And we will see whether Flatzoid can be honest and say, yes, that is it. You know, if the earth was a globe, you'd expect to see that. Or whether he won't be able to bring himself to say, yes, that's exactly what you'll be able to see on a globe. Sun. Right, and I apologise for I've pinched this off Twitter. I don't know who you are. Please let me know and I'll give you a shout out for this. But what a fantastic meme. If we look, you know, at the sunset on a globe, this is exactly what I would expect to see on a globe. This is what we see. We see the sun go down behind the horizon. That's exactly what we would expect to see if the earth was a globe. Would I expect to see this on a flat earth? No. We would obviously expect to see this kind of weird moving away in the distance. Right. Come back to that later on. Would I expect to see this if the earth was a globe? Hell yes, of course I would. And I'll be asking Flatzoid this question. If the earth was a globe, would you expect to see that? And obviously anybody who is looking at half an oil rig missing behind an horizon would say, yeah, that's exactly what you'd expect to see if the earth was a globe. Not this, right, where they look like they've been melted any flat earther who's bringing this temporary image as their primary source, rather than what it normally looks like, is being dishonest. Right? This is what I would expect to see on a globe with refraction. If you can show me that picture without any refraction whatsoever, then maybe we can start talking about flat Earth. Would you expect to see on a flat Earth 200 meters of missing mounting? No, you wouldn't. You would expect to see that exactly on a globe. And again, I'll be asking Flatzoid, is this what you'd expect to see on a globe? Hundreds of meters of mountain below sea level. Because if you've never been to Blackpool, this is the big one here. My family have just come back from Blackpool. You're on the sea. You know, we're literally just above sea level here. 200 meters of mountain below that sea level. That's all been gone into before. Would we expect to see star trails on a stationary flat Earth? No. Would we expect to see star trails like this at the equator? No. All right. Why on a flat Earth? No, we wouldn't. Would we expect to see the spherical shadow of the Earth during a lunar eclipse if the Earth was a globe? Hell yeah, absolutely. Will Flatzoid be honest enough to say, yes, that's exactly what we'd expect to see if the Earth was a globe? Or will he try and not answer that question? Would we expect to see the moon upside down in different hemispheres if the Earth was a globe? Hell yes, of course we would. Only a dishonest person would say, no, we wouldn't expect to see that. Would we expect to see the solar analemma if the Earth was stationary? Of course we wouldn't. Okay, I'll come back to some of these images later on. They're just some observations, right? The definition we came to was observations and measurements. Right, here's some measurements. I knocked this graph up earlier on with a felt-tip pen and a Charles ruler. And it shows, if we look at the bottom, increments of 10 degrees of latitude. And then we plot the apparent angle of Polaris in the sky. We see that it forms a linear relationship, something that's obviously only possible on a globe. We can get into the maths of that later on. It fits the y equals mx plus c. Here the gradient is 1, the y-intercept is 0, so we can say y equals x. Anybody who's done high school maths knows that that's all very, very, very basic stuff. Okay? And here's where the honesty comes in. Because when I see flat earthers talk about the linear relationship of Polaris, they come up with absolute drivel like this. They come up with their graphs. This is a graph that a flat earther put on YouTube to try and claim that Polaris showed some kind of, would have a linear relationship with distance from the North Pole on Earth. There is no scale, there is no understanding, it's just random lines. I don't even know what that is. And it's good that we're getting close to Halloween because this is absolutely horrific. Look at this with actual numbers and actual intervals, and look at this with a series of randomly drawn lines that my daughter could do if she spilt her paint on the carpet. This was awful, and I think that was Flatzoid's. Right. Now I can do that game as well. I can draw a graph with absolutely no scale, right? And absolutely no depth. And even this is better at trying to explain these observations than this that we're looking at the screen now. How long have we got left, Johnny? No, did you hear that? How long have we got? No? Okay. So, I'm looking for a bit of honesty for somebody to say, okay, yeah, actually, I didn't really understand. 2 minutes. I didn't really understand what was going on there. The same flat earther, when we talk about observations, I'm going to be talking about sextants. We're going to be talking about celestial navigation. The same flat earther, instead of being honest and saying, I don't really know anything about sextants, said this. You can look at the transcripts at the bottom, talking about the index arm. Notice the angle is a right angle. We've got the vertex labeled. Notice the angle is a right angle. Look at that vertex, right, up here. Obviously, it's not a right angle. It's a 60-degree angle. This vertex can only happen with straight right angles. Clearly, somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about, giving their opinion on celestial navigation, are they going to be honest and say, actually, I didn't know what I was talking about? Or are they going to lie, even though they deliberately labeled the vertex, labeled the angle, and we can see by the transcript they're clearly talking about this angle? Or are they going to lie and say they're talking about a 90-degree angle between the ground and the person who stood up holding the sextant, something which isn't mentioned in the video whatsoever? Okay? Because if you're going to comment on celestial navigation, I want you to be honest enough to tell me that you understand it, because those observations only prove the globe. What else proves a globe is when something falls behind the curvature of the Earth. When it falls behind the curvature of the Earth, we could follow this and we'll see the splash happens when this object, we all know what we're talking about here, the splash will happen when this object is somewhere a couple of inches below the surface. When it hits, then we see the splash, but it doesn't occur when we're on that red line. But what a flat earther might do is recognize that and then delete that curvature, tell nobody that curvature was deleted, and then claim, oh, thank you, Resurrectric, for proving the curve of the Earth. So honesty is something I'm really, really going to push home. The last thing I'm going to say, and it is the last thing, and I know I'm pushing my time here, is I want to look at this comment here. Flatzoid needs to be honest and tell everybody that his observations are all about his belief in God. We can see it right here. God is supernatural. Science is only for nature and not for the supernatural.
And that is your time. All right. Let's get, if you will remove your presentation, please.
Thank you.
All right. Flatzoid, whenever you are ready, you have 10 minutes.
This is for my presentation, correct?
Yes.
Okay, I'm not going to share my screen, obviously, but I did at least prepare something. Okay. First, we have to establish what we observe and how we interpret what we see. Our perspective is the main driving force on how we deduce the reality presented to us. From the age of having understanding, you are bombarded with a worldview that's foundations is rooted in having a perspective on life that is set to you. This means that you are shown images, art, and fed narratives of the globe that is reality. You are taught to just accept it, and what taught in schools and in institutions is just fact. You are not taught to think for your own and take logical deduction to what is presented as reality. When you open a book, you see a globe. When you turn on the television, you see a globe. You get songs of space and travel and fantasy way beyond one's imagination. You are conditioned to trust the government and to trust any authoritative figure. When you were in school, did the education system teach you how to think logically, or to accept the narrative based on the proposition that it is logic? Let's take a look at an example. When you are sitting, lying down or standing at this moment in time, do you experience any movement of the ground beneath your feet? We are taken to a faith-based deduction on what we are taught, not what you observe. We are told the earth is moving under our feet. We are told that we should not experience the movement because of its megalithic size. Is this what we really observe? When you look outside, what do you see? Do you see the sky moving overhead, or do you perceive the ground and yourself to be moving? You see, this perception is based on your programming. You observe no movement, but you just accept it to be moving. You observe the sky to be moving, but you just accept it as a trick of your eyes. It's the ground moving. Or you are not taught that it was the ground moving. You would even come to this conclusion. Would you come to this conclusion if you were taught it was not the ground moving? You are hardwired to follow the perspective prescribed to you without question. So this brings to me my first evidence for flat earth. Yes, I am labeled a flat earther, all because of the flat earth society. I tell you now, I live on a stationary horizontal plane. Even though we get all fed and controlled opposition narrative based on upward accelerating space pizza, which is nonsense, I boldly take the flat earth stigma, all because I know I would rather trust my senses than trust the worldview based on faith rooted in a religion of Jesuits. So evidence number one, we experience a stationary plane. We do not experience the movement of the ground, but the sky above us. Now the opponents will bring up man-made mechanisms like the focal pendulum to appease their correlations. This unfortunately is the puddle we sit in. The globe is based on faith and is trenched in pseudoscience, masquerading as science, just to fit the correlative bias. Evidence number two, the globe first has to assume after measurements are based off of a horizontal plane. We can observe daily that the horizontal is only optical and far surpasses the narrative of the set radius for the globe. We can demonstrate things vanishing bottom up on flat surfaces, hence on my channel many times and many others, with angles that are limited and other optical phenomena like refraction and so forth. It's all optical and can be shown to be this every day. The curve, however, must be geographic and this is set physically. This means it has no room to change. As soon as you evoke optical effects that change the geometry of the so-called heliocentric model, you have thrown the heliocentric radius under the bus. Hence the black swan. Also note why my so-called 11 frames is such a devastating argument. I love when the globe defenders bring it up because it's a concession that the curve is not physical, but only optical. Hence removing the inferior mirage is cry that I took away the curve. The measurements are then calculated into the globe from the horizontal and stationary measurements. So if it was a globe, why then would we first measure the stationary horizontal plane to then transform it into a globe? Why then would you require calculations like the Haversine formula if it was a globe? What is level? Well, when we look at definitions of level, we see it means flat, horizontal, no curve with no part higher or lower. Yet, we still find a contradiction creeping in some translations like the Merriam-Webster dictionary. After stating that it is flat, horizontal and not curving, still at the end tells us to have the balls to level is a curve of the earth. If you do not see the contradiction, then I'm afraid you have successfully been indoctrinated. Places we observe to be flat. Large bodies of water at rest, like the Suez Canal, many thousands of kilometers of level water. Or how about the Nile River that flows only one direction, that is also level and contradicts having a new tangent going down from your feet at every direction? Or how about many salt flats or the railways that show no curve? Evidence number 3 would be the fact we have gas pressure. How does this apply? Well, simply first, what is gas pressure? It's the force exerted by the gas on the surface of a container, surface wall of a container. Now we get to the argument, but we have pressure gradients. Where is your container? That's so dishonest. We also get fed the spoon-fed of faith-based gravity. The contradictions of gravity faces the fact that it's never been anything other than correlative-based and is enough to point out something supported by natural law, which is flat earth-based. Flat earth based is based on the second law of thermodynamics and doesn't violate it. Gravity violates that. We can demonstrate every day you require containment to have gas pressure, and we can demonstrate gas pressure gradients based on the behavior of gas in containment. Gravity is not seen as a force and thus invalidates F equals ma to compound the argument that it is a force held to hold gas down. I have yet to see any demonstration of gravity hold down gas inevitably. I, however, have seen the countless demonstrations of gas being brought in containment, then dispersing into the surrounding system. While I hope I made it clear to you that based on my perspective, that evidence is very clear why I say it's a stationary horizontal plane. I hope you really understood these statements and take deep thought into how you perceive reality, as it's all based on how you choose to be honest with yourself. Thank you. I forfeit the rest of my stream.
All right. Baldy Catz, when you are ready, you have 10 minutes to provide your rebuttal. And
10 or 5?
10.
10, no, brilliant. 10. Right.
Unless you want me to, unless you want me to give you a handicap and put you at 5.
No, you're right. Thank you. I'll take as long as you prefer to give me. Just let me know when my time's starting. We're off? Okay. So that was brilliant. If we look back to the agreement that I showed you, and I showed you deliberately at the beginning of the debate, the agreement was I will bring 3 observations or 3 measurements that will validate the fact that the Earth is a globe. Flatzoid should bring the same. And surprise, surprise, he didn't bring anything at all, apart from trying to somehow debunk the arguments that support the idea as a globe. And to be honest, Flatzoid, you've got to sit there and question yourself. You've had nearly 2 weeks to plan for this debate, and you failed to bring a single piece of evidence, a single piece of observation. And yet again, if we look what we've got on screen here, yet again, you want to talk about gas pressure rather than bring actual observations. Why can't you bring an observation that you would expect to see if the Earth is flat? I did it very easily, and I'm going to spend a lot of my time going over that because you've left me nothing to refute at all. What we see on screen here are what I like to call 3 levels of gas pressure. I just made that up. Hope you like it. Right here at the very bottom is what I teach 11-year-old children, Flatzoid. 11-year-old children. We Google gas pressure right? When we're in year 7 and 8 and we have a look about it and we talk about it and might show them diagrams like, oh, this here, or look at that. That's something I designed for some kids, for some children, Flatzoid. Children. We take our Google, and this is our key stage 3. It's our child's introduction to gas pressure. And you never seem to come off this level. Everything you say is about, oh, we need a container for gas pressure, because your source for that are quotes like you see down here at level number C, right? Or level number C, letter number C. A child's understanding. But in reality, where we actually try and understand science, where we actually try and understand what a linear relationship is, we try and understand what a right angle is, where we try and educate ourselves and speak from an educated perspective rather than just Googling stuff and making crap up. In the real world, we move on from this 11-year-old's understanding and we learn about atmospheric pressure, and then at the higher levels of science here, understanding atmospheric pressure and behavior in terms of entropy. Fantastic paper. I suggest that you read it. So we can bang on about we need a pressure, we need a container for any kind of gas pressure, because it's a mantra that you have. You only have a mantra. You have no dome to point at. You have no container. You have a religious belief. As we showed in the opening statement, you have a religious belief that science is only for nature and not for the supernatural. So it's okay for you not to understand stuff because your God can then come and just defy science. But here's what I brought. Right? I actually brought, Flatzoid, observations that we would expect on a globe. You brought none. You talk about the stationary Earth. What are you expecting is going on here? Do you expect these thousands of stars are all dancing in the sky around our head, all in line with each other to make it look as though the Earth is moving? Or is it more likely that actually the Earth is just spinning? Is it likely that the fact that we see 2 of these, one at the north and one at the south, is actually the Earth is a sphere, especially when we see this at the equator? Or is it the fact that they're like little fireflies who've been trained by Eric Dubé flying around the Earth in a certain pattern just so you could stand there and say, well, obviously the Earth is stationary? How can anybody who's got any honesty look at these pictures and say, yeah, we wouldn't expect to see that if the Earth was a globe? How? How can you look at something like this? Well, you didn't bring anything like this. I'm trying to rebuke something. You didn't bring anything. You said, oh, we're just going to state that the Earth must be stationary and everyone assumes a horizontal plane. Where are your observations like this? Where are they? You mentioned the black swan. You mentioned that. And what did I say about that in my opening statement? Yeah? We talked about evidence being reproducible and repeatable. The black swan is not a reproducible and repeatable bit of evidence, is it? Because when you go there 99 times out of 100, this is what you see. This is what you see. Not that, right? With melty oil rigs, this is what you see. And yet, when you've had 2 weeks to prepare, this is what you bring as your evidence. It took me no time at all to knock this PowerPoint together. Look, I could find that in 2 minutes, find that in 2 minutes, I could find that in 2 minutes, I could find that, I could find that, I could find... It could be anything. I showed my honesty, didn't I? I showed my honesty when I showed those. So I'm trying to rebuke something, and you haven't brought anything to rebuke. You've just said, we need gas pressure, a container for gas pressure, even though we can't see a dome, there must be something somewhere. That's basically what you've said. I am going to ask you in the head-to-head, where are your observations? And if you don't give me observations, I'm going to be reminding you about this, that you've had 2 weeks to bring observations. I am going to be asking you, do you think that is what we would expect to see if the Earth is a globe? And I'm going to see what your answer is to that. And please show me your observations, otherwise the debate's already over, because you've literally come to a gunfight with a spoon. Honestly, I haven't got anything to rebuke because you literally brought nothing, even though the agreement... How long have I got left, Johnny? 4 minutes. Shall I spend 4 minutes, Flatzoid, reading this email out? Because I feel like doing that. Repeatable and reproducible observations or measurements. Where did you bring observations and measurements in that opening where you just talked about gas pressure needs a container? Where did you bring it? Where did you bring observations that are repeatable and reproducible to tell me that the Earth was stationary. I brought observations. Let's do them again. Look, here's one. That's one. Right, let's count them. Here's another one. Here's another one. Here, right, two different observations. One of them we never see because it's made up about the flat Earth. The other one, we do see the sun. Think that, no, that's another one. Right, well, when we get onto scale later on, you talked about, oh, the Earth being big. Yes, scale. Flatzoid. Scale. Where did you bring anything for me to review? Where? Look, here's another piece of evidence. 200 meters of missing mountain. I mean, I don't know where to go with this. Flat Earth, here's another one. The circular shadow of the Earth over the moon in a lunar eclipse. Another reproducible and repeatable piece of evidence. Where are your observations and measurements? Where are they? I'm waiting. I've been to Australia. I've seen this is real. We can see the moon in the opposite orientation. Something that's impossible, by the way, on a flat Earth. If this was the flat Earth, Flatzoid.
Hello.
Hello. If this was a flat Earth, Flatzoid, have I gone over time? No. Then we were. Sorry, I just heard someone say hello in the background. Then we'd be looking at different sides of the moon. Not the same side of the moon, but it'd be an upside down. You've not brought anything for me to review. I thought you were supposed to be this really intelligent flat Earth debater who was going to give me a hard time, and you've literally come with nothing for me whatsoever. So I'll introduce you to the honesty table I knocked up before the debate. Here's the honesty table. In our debate, go on, where is it? Because we're going back honesty, I'm going to be asking you about boats vanishing from the bottom up. I'm going to be asking about the linear relationship between Polaris and latitude. And I'm going to be asking you, are they things you would expect to see on a globe? Put yourself in the position of someone who lives on a globe. Would you expect to see those? And I'm going to be listening very carefully to your answer, and we will see whether you're honest enough to say, well, yeah, we lived on a globe. Of course we'd expect to see boats vanish bottom up. Of course we'd expect to see that linear relationship. Of course we'd expect to see circumpolar stars and different star trails. And I'm going to be asking you all these, and we'll see. And then I'll tot up as we're going how many times you make an excuse so you don't have to say yes or no. But for now, I just feel as if, honestly, I've had to waffle for 10 minutes because you didn't bring anything. I've got 1 minute left. So in that 1 minute left, I'm going to use it, Flatzoid. In that 1 minute left, right, we'll skip past your amazing geometry here with your, what is it? Your straight right angle that's only possible with this vertices. That was awesome. And we'll go back to the original email, back to the agreement for the debate. And the agreement for the debate was repeatable and reproducible observations or measurements, right? Repeatable and reproducible observations or measurements. Where are your observations? Where are your measurements? I've brought loads. I've kept, I know you like keeping things very simple, so I've kept things very simple. So where are your observations and measurements? And with that, I'll call time.
Ooh. All right. Let me get this reset. This darn thing wants to work. Flatzoid, you have 10 minutes
before I start, is there any way I can show my screen now?
Yeah, you can screen share.
Would I be able to screen share there? Okay, that's why I didn't screen share in the beginning, because I wasn't sure I could. Let's see. Okay, share screen. I'm pressing share screen. But nothing's happening.
Should bring up the, if you press share screen, it should bring up the screens that you're able to share.
Okay, maybe, let's see. Can you guys see this?
It says you're started sharing your screen. Yes.
Okay.
All right. Your 10 minutes begins.
Okay, thank you very much, Catz, for lying out to everybody in... Yeah, telling me I didn't bring 3 things. I specifically said the 3 things that were... labeled them 1, 2, and 3, if you didn't remember. But let's first start with all your misrepresentations. First of all, telling me... okay, yes, you can see all those things on the globe. I'm not saying you can't, Baldy Catz. The problem is when you say they are physical and not optical, because hence why the black swan is there, showing it's optical. That's why I brought up my 11 frames debacle, because that shows you guys dishonest. Also, remember you brought up that vertex thing, telling me I'm dishonest. Let's go and see what's the straight video I did exactly after that, just for Catz. Because Catz seems to ignore this. This video was exclusively for Ranty Dip correction. Should the actual what I meant by right angle was the man holding the sextant. Oh wait, what did you tell me? Then you show something like a comment totally taking me out of context. Why? Because you are dishonest, just as you shown. Thank you. Is that a right angle? Because the man is holding it. That was what I meant. So instead of misrepresenting me, rather show the truth. Also, you say we can't show the moon. It would be impossible on a flat earth. You might have to learn perspective, because that's the problem you guys have on the globe. Pay attention. This was 2 nights ago stream. I'm going to actually do an actual demonstration. Let's see, this should be the moon. You see that red thing there? That's a lid. That's see-through there. What's going to happen when I go to the other side of the so-called moon? Let's go. Let's move to the other side. Obviously, I'm just talking quickly about it. Trying to get it in focus because it was kind of bad.
And it's almost like see-through there. Okay, now we're going to go to the other side of the globe. Which side is the red lid now, guys?
Oh, wait. Did it change sides
Is
now?
the red lid on the bottom or is it the top?
Huh. This is explained with Star Trolls as well.
There's the red lid.
This is the Star Trolls debunk of you also saying it is impossible on flat Earth. Okay. Thank you, Michael Khan, for this video, because it's very simple just to explain it. Star Trolls, it's all got to do with perspective. He's standing along the road. He's waiting for the car to come along the side. Okay? Anti-clockwise. What's going to happen when... Well, he's already gone past. Sorry, I have to go back to where he was. Okay, he's going past now. You saw it went from right to left. Anti-clockwise. He just turns around. Waits for a car to come again. Now he's facing south and not north anymore. What direction is the car coming from now, cats? Let's wait for the car to come. This is such rudimentary stuff. It's the most simple things you could say. But you being a so-called science teacher, is supposed to know this. While we watch it, oh, now it went clockwise. So that debunks your so-called star trails. This is what I was actually explaining, guys, because this guy is so dishonest, he doesn't want to explain what I'm explaining here. I am doing the math to show you how you got the 600 nautical miles per 10 degrees, because it's to the equator, and why the luminaries appear to drop because of perspective. He's walking 600 nautical miles away, which makes 80. There's the math for it. I'm not going to do it because I don't have so much time, but I do have this on my stream, very comprehensive, explaining this. Then I also explain it with the field of view, the reason why it appears to be dropping, because it follows your field of view bubble. You know, optics. That's how it works. Okay, what else? Oh yes, calculations are not measurements. You're supposed to know this. My graph, which you misrepresented like I just showed. Lunar eclipses can work on a flat Earth too, because we see it as plasma. Can plasma regenerate itself? Yes, it can. Blackpool Towers. I even showed Blackpool Towers a while back. I think it was trying to see if I have the other presentation here somewhere. Or did I put it at the bottom here? Because I actually showed you how focal length can give the appearance of drop. Okay, it's not on this one. File open. If it's going to open. Oh, there we go. This, cats, shows you to be totally wrong once again. Oh shit, sorry. This is a 12mm, taken exactly the same distance, everything, 200mm. Look at the difference, look at the compression. Is it dropping in her background? Yes, it's dropping in the background. Why? All because the compression due to parallax and the focal length change. That's why we get Blackpool Tower, like it does. Very simple stuff. My belief in God is very apparent, I do, but that's not why I say flat Earth. I've only recently brought up God in a debate because I find it very interesting to debate it as well. There's a lot of my subscribers that are also faith-based, and so we chat about God. You taking that comment was total misrepresentation of what is the context. Maybe the people should go and read the actual thread. What else? Didn't bring anything at all, yet all I've done is bring things. I've even explained to you what it is. And again, your globe is science, pseudoscience, as I explained, not science. So please bring for me science for anything you've just presented, because you claiming science, so it is your burden to prove by bringing science. Black swan is not repeatable. Yes, it is repeatable over and over because it's refraction. When you bring refraction up, it means it's optical. Why is the horizon behind the so-called oil rigs? That's because it's refracted, it's optical. The whole argument of the black swan is saying because you are changing Earth's geometry, you are throwing the radius away. You cannot have a refracted horizon behind a refracted oil rig. Do you get your problem here? Thank you very much. That's all I need for now, because that's all I can think about. Yeah. And I can also, wait, maybe I can show you observations of doing bottom-up obstruction, because you seem to forget every time I do this. Let's go look at my channel again, where I show bottom-up obstruction, where we do it over and over and over. Hence, I even show sun setting on a flat earth for Mattoon. Very weird how we get that right, but it's impossible on a flat earth. Explaining eye level and horizon on a flat earth. How much time do we have left? Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm giving you your cues. It's 2.5 minutes.
Okay, cool. Bottom-up obstruction. Let's see this thing. This is another bottom-up obstruction I did because I can actually do demonstrations. Hence, even gas pressure without containment. Your atmospheric pressure. What is gas pressure comprised? What is gas comprised of? The atmosphere. As far as I know, it's gas. And gas pressure is the force exerted on the container. Very simple stuff. Okay, let's try and forward this where I show it's just optical. Look at that. They're showing it different things. These are all demonstrations I've actually done showing bottom-up obstruction. This one is a killer though. You might want to sit back for this one, Catz. Okay.
Stay tuned.
Okay, we're not going to play music, obviously. You see, this is just the one nut showing there. I just want to quickly forward a bit so we can get to where it's actually showing bottom-up obstruction on the flat surface. Very odd. Now this is an actual aluminium flat bar. It is totally 100% flat and straight. There's no bounces or curves or anything to it. Let's see how it gets obstructed by the flat surface. I'm above the surface at the back. Hence, where's the bottom of that bolt? Oh shit. I thought it's not impossible on a flat surface. Now, did I ever say you cannot see this on a globe? No, no one's ever said that. The difference is you claiming it always to be physical. It's optical and can be proven time and time and time and time again. So instead of lying out of your ass and saying I'm dishonest, rather you stop being dishonest and showing you misrepresent and pull things out of your ass. Thank you very much.
All right. We will enter in the...
Yeah, I just want to say if there's issues buffering, it's not me, it seems to be YouTube, guys, so just refresh, it should be okay.
Yep.
Is there a way I can unshare? Don't know, it doesn't want me to unshare.
You should just be able to press stop screen sharing. I could probably do it for you, just X.
Would you be able to do it for me?
Yeah,
oh, thanks.
Done it.
Thank you.
All right. We are now going to get into the question and answer portion of this. If we have any direct questions, let's...
Well, it was open discussion first before the question and answer between them.
Sure.
I've got a question, if that's okay. So if I can kick off with Flatzoid, is that all right?
100%.
Okay, it's two very quick questions. I will be extremely quick. I'll be less than a minute. The first one is you talked about the moon and you did your lamp experiment. Let's just compare the moon here to the moon here, northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere. They're identical, but one is upside down compared to the other. Thank you for your lamp experiment. I took screenshots of that while you were doing it. Here's the lamp from one side, here's the lamp from the other side. Look at that. Are they identical, or are we seeing different parts of each lamp? So thank you for actually debunking yourself live on FGFE. That's brilliant. Now, here's my second question. We agreed, let's go right back to the very first slide. we agreed that we would each bring 3 observations or measurements that repeatedly and reproducibly supported our own model of the Earth, right? I am going to say now, take me 10 seconds, I will bring objects including the sun disappearing behind the horizon. I will choose star trails in the north and south and on the equator. And I will choose the shadow of the Earth on the moon. There's my 3. I did it very quickly. Can you, Flatzoid, just as succinctly, can you just tell me in order so I can write them down, 1, 2, and 3, what observations and or measurements you've brought that you would only expect on a flat Earth? Off you go.
I did explain this on my opening presentation.
So number 1 is, I'm writing it down, number 1 is what?
Stationary Earth, because we observe it, sir.
Hang on, sorry, so you would expect on a flat Earth for the Earth to be stationary?
Yes, because that's what we observe.
So
are you busy observing movement now? Kratz, are you busy
What does the shape of the Earth have to do with motion?
Are you busy observing movement now?
So we're talking about the shape of the Earth.
Yes,
What does the shape?
and that's part of the flat Earth. Remember, it's a stationary horizontal.
I'm finished.
All right.
I'm finished.
Let's try not to overtop it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, we're going to your points number 2 and 3. We're going to points number 2 and 3. So you
No, we're still on number 1. We're still on number 1.
I just want your 3. 1, 2, 3, and then
I'm still trying to answer number 1.
Stationary Earth. Give us number 2.
Can we first finish number 1, Katz?
Just give us your 1, 2, 3.
Why are you running away from number 1?
Give me your number 2.
Why are you running away?
Do you have a number 2?
I had it in my presentation. If you forgot about it already.
Then yes, I did. So please tell me, because not only am I confused, but everyone watching the chat is confused. What's your number 2?
Large bodies of water at rest level. Hence the Nile River. Hence the Suez Canal. Hence I even gave salt flats. Hence I even gave railways.
What's your number 3?
Gas pressure requires containment.
Sorry, that's not an observation.
It is an observation because
what's your number 3?
Gas pressure requires containment.
That's not an observation that the Earth must be flat.
Yes,
Listen
it is,
to the
because
link between them. What is your observation or measurement that says the Earth must be flat? What is it?
Show me a flat Earth narrative that does not have containment, please. Show me a flat Earth that does not have containment, please.
Show you a flat Earth? I can't, because it doesn't exist. What is your third piece?
Thank you.
Flatzoid, I did it very quickly.
I was sitting at you. Why are you running?
Star trails, the shadow of the shadow
I debunked your star trails. I debunked your shadow of the moon because it was a 180. Do you understand that?
Give me your number 3.
Gas pressure requires containment. Gas pressure requires containment. Gas pressure. Can you stop over talking me? Thank you. Okay, Baldy Cats. First, number 1. You do not.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and take control really quick. We're doing too much over talking to each other. I think, Flatzoid, there has been a reasonable question to provide your 3 observations that you would expect on a flat Earth. If you could just give us a 1, 2, 3 really quick, and then I think that's where the hang-up is at. Once we have those, I believe, I don't want to speak for Baldy Cats, but I do believe that once he has that, he will agree to discuss each one as they go, correct, Baldy Cats? I have requested for you to unmute, so.
So absolutely, all I want is a quick, just like I do, 1, 2, 3, here's my piece of evidence, and we can talk about it.
All right. Okay. Asked you to unmute. There we go.
Okay, number 1, stationary Earth. Number 2, level water. Number 3, gas pressure requires containment.
So I'm going to start with number 3. Gas pressure requires containment, because my observations speak for themselves. All right, my observations are very clear. I can take photographs of them. They speak for themselves because they are so easy to see. I'm going to ask you again. The debate was to bring 3 pieces of evidence to show that the Earth was flat. Can you succinctly tell me, and I'll be quiet, but can you tell me why your statement of gas pressure requires containment means the Earth must be flat? Go.
Easy, because it means it's not a globe, because you require gravity, which contradicts what gas pressure is. Every single flat Earth narrative is in containment. That's why.
Perhaps I can ask a clarifying question, just to make sure that everybody understands the point that you're trying to make. Are you suggesting that a globe cannot have a container?
Yes, because it's considered an open system.
So you're basing that on the globe model?
No.
Not
No, I'm basing it on the flat Earth. He's trying to ask me why it would mean it's a flat. So I'm just showing him why, compared to the globe model, it has to be flat. That's why.
Okay, so no. To clarify, what you're saying is that you're not saying that globes are impossible of having a container. You're just saying based on the globe model that it doesn't have a container.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
So I brought, we can see on screen, actual photographic observations that show that clearly the Earth isn't stationary because we have star trails. So can you tell me how the image I'm looking at now, the image that's on the screen now, how does that show you that the Earth is stationary?
First of all, we haven't finished my number 1 and 2 yet. You've also skipped
Well, number
past
1 is stationary Earth, so we are literally doing your number 1 right now. Your number 1 was stationary
Okay.
Earth, so we are
star
finishing
trails.
it.
Okay, I debunked it by just showing you a demonstration with the cars going left to right. It's all got to do with perception.
So that's not the question. I'm going to clarify the question.
That is.
Really clearly, so everybody on your channel and everybody on this channel can hear the question, and I want you to respond to the question I'm asking. The question I am asking is, how does this observation on the screen, because you're not showing any observations, how does this observation on the screen show you that the Earth is stationary? Does this, or, and this is the honesty test, is this not exactly what you would expect to see on a spherical rotating Earth? Which one?
You can see this on a flat Earth too, because it's the stars moving.
Okay. Let's do this in two points at a time.
You're being very biased
Would
here.
you expect to see this? Would you expect to see this on a spherical rotating Earth? Yes or no?
Yes, I never said you wouldn't.
Perfect.
But you
well,
are.
I say
but you asking
you
me.
wouldn't be able to on a flat Earth.
But I just
say
debunked you with
wouldn't.
that. But so you're just ignoring the actual demonstration that debunked you.
There is
Actual
no
demonstration.
Flatzoid. I'm sat here wondering where your demonstration was. What
Did you not see the car
is
go
you took
past?
a picture of the lamp in your living room.
No, that
you
was for the
walked
moon.
From one side of it to another.
Why are you moving to the
And then
moon?
you said,
Sorry,
there we go,
Johnny.
Star Trek
Johnny, can
people.
you stop talking over me? Can you please
I've
ask
stopped.
him to stop talking over me?
All right. I'll tell you what, seeing as how the demonstration is in question, could you please demonstrate or show your demonstration once again so we can witness this and have a better understanding of what that demonstration is?
Okay, I'm gonna try and get it up again.
What she said.
Oh, you beat me to it. I was literally unmuting myself to say that.
That's actually a good one.
Avoiding
Oh,
that one.
Who are the dads in the room? Let me guess.
But yeah, it's amazing how he has to just ignore everything I present and actually show actual numbers. And by the way, that moon showing 180 is exactly how it looks in the southern hemisphere. Remember, I live in the so-called southern hemisphere, and the sun also rotates in a 360 angle, if you haven't realized that, while it turns
Awesome.
upside
Let's see
down.
your
It's all
evidence.
got to do with perspective.
Let's
But
see.
while we're looking, I'm just trying to get that again, where I'm showing, I think it's loading. Okay. I'm going to share screen now. I'm going to share screen.
Just while Flatzoid's getting that up, I've seen several questions in the chat about what this is on my forehead. That's called a big ass spot. So, yeah.
Okay, it's just buffering. Sorry, guys.
That's okay.
It's all right, but we are to be clear that when this comes up, this is actually going to be evidence that proves that the star trails are possible. That star trails are possible on a flat Earth.
Yeah.
Awesome. And it's a car driving down the
Look.
street. Yes, I did see this. Yes.
East.
I did see a
west.
car drive down the street.
Yeah, just pay attention quickly, please. And
Awesome.
we are looking, that's east, we remember, that's where the stars are coming from, the car, and he's looking north now. So, in other words, he's looking north from the southerly direction. He's waiting for this car to come from right here. Here comes this star, moving across the flat, stationary plane. Because it's all got to do with your position, with your perspective. See, it looks anti-clockwise.
Is there a way to put both of those baldy cats? Can we put your image next to what we're seeing here since we show the correlation between the two?
Do I need to share again? Oh, I can't. No, it says it won't let me while another participant is sharing.
Okay, east to west. Now he's looking south.
Okay, Flatzoid, that's brilliant. Can I just ask, how on earth is that supposed to debunk the fact that to prove that star trails are are?
Because it's
possible on
got
a
to
flat
do
Earth?
with simple perspective. It's got to do with your position towards the
Right.
stars.
So we have an issue here, and I'm just going to be absolutely brutally honest. We have an issue here of extremely low-level thinking, where we look at star trails in the north. We look, in fact, can I share my screen now?
Yeah, please do.
We look at. You'll have to stop.
Yeah, stop staring.
So here is where the honesty value comes in. Now, what I will say, and I'm very, very happy you said this, I'll give you a big gold star for the honesty. You said this is, and just for the benefit of the nearly 900 people watching and the 4 or 5 watching
Don't
on your
misrepresent
channel,
what I said though.
you said that this is what we would expect on a globe Earth. You specifically said that, so I'll take that as a win. Now, when it comes to yours, what we actually see on the Earth is we see movement in one hemisphere of the stars, perfectly circular movement with them all beautifully, all of them, these beautiful circles. And you seem to be claiming what? That these stars are driving around in these amazingly beautiful circles just for our benefit. And for some reason, when we get to the equator, we see something like this. And you'll never talk about this because you've got no idea what you're talking about, because you've got such low-level thinking. You think a car going from one place to another. Can we just have it on record that your explanation for star trails, you've got me going in now, is literally a car driving past a bus stop? Well, can I just stop and just give you a round of applause, Flatzoid? Can you explain
can I defend myself?
at the equator?
Okay, first of all, let's do it this way. What happens when you stand and something flies, let's say like a plane above you, Baldy Catz? If it's directly above you. No, it's directly above you. Will it have that the so-called equator straight above you?
Sorry, what on earth?
Let's say you're looking up. A plane, let's say you're standing and looking up. A plane flies directly overhead. From the front of you to back. It's going to look like it's just going straight above you. Now, the plane stays in exactly the same position flying that same path. You move eastward and you look at that plane. Would it be going now anti-clockwise?
So
just like we showed with the car.
No
just like it.
You've got no
just like. Excuse me, I'm busy selling you. Just like we saw with the car. And then you go the other way and look the opposite direction. It goes the right way. Heck, I can even use this with Mr. Sensible's video that he did. You know that one where he turns around on the chair? It's exactly the same. It's got to do with your position to the rotation.
Okay, so right now, the cognitive dissonance is kicking in.
Why are you changing
this? Because you realise, you look at that picture
Why are you changing?
Equator, and there's
Can you stop changing this?
Is there?
Can you please stop changing every time you get demolished on an argument?
Just let me finish this point and I'll come straight back to you.
That's all you do. You keep changing.
Yeah, no,
this is dishonest. Sorry, Johnny, I can't work like this. This guy's being dishonest. Really, he's changing every time I demolish something. Sorry.
All right.
He muted me as well now, guys.
Take a quick breath.
This is the dishonesty of these guys.
So what we're going to do is we're going to start with Flatzoid. If you will answer the question.
Really?
Baldy Catz.
I must answer the question. This guy's not answering one of my questions.
Let me go ahead and get this. Just because I want to make sure we know what question we're asking.
This guy
Baldy Catz, I'll ask you to restate your question as in its simplest form and let Flatzoid have the opportunity to answer.
Okay, so in the simplest form, I've got star trails on the screen now. I asked you in this debate for observations that show that the Earth is flat. And I'm asking you, is the best you've got a car driving down the street?
May I answer now? Or are you going to talk over me again?
No, I'm going to put myself on mute.
Okay, thank you. First of all, Catz, I said stationary Earth. My point was, which you obfuscated from the beginning, was, do you feel movement? Which you've been too dishonest to even answer me because you just want to run away.
Well, hang on a second, Flatzoid. I would ask that you answer his question.
I am answering it. I am answering it.
Seems a roundabout way of getting there.
I'm trying to get to it, but it's also not really helping me when you guys are showing bias towards me, and every time you mute me, you want me to answer him, but he hasn't answered one thing this whole stream to me.
Hang on a second.
This whole stream.
I'm not showing bias to anybody. In this whole stream, I've only interrupted twice. And again, I asked you one clarifying question to make sure we all understood your point the first time. The second time, Yes, I did want to make sure that the question that was asked by Baldy Catz, I don't want to misrepresent his question, so I wanted him to ask it so you could answer it.
Okay, but I'm trying to. But like I'm saying, I brought up the argument stationary Earth, so now he's bringing up star trails. I literally saw a demonstration show him why it is the way it is. I'm giving the mechanics for what is the reason it's done like that. So just because he's ignorant and dishonest by ignoring what it is, doesn't mean that I'm not bringing anything. It just means I'm demolishing his argument. And that's why I asked in the beginning, do you feel movement under your feet, Baldy Catz? It's a simple yes or no. He simply even hasn't answered me a yes or a no yet. Do you feel movement?
Well, watch how this is done, Flatzoid. Watch. No! See how easy that is?
Wow! So there we go. Flat Earth proved one, guys. That's my first one. So, second one.
Oh, no, stop. Sorry, no. Not flat proof one, because if I'm sat on a train or a plane in the sky, I don't feel movement, but I use my eyes to look around me and my observations to know that I am moving. Just like when we look at star trails, we're using our eyes to realize that we are moving. Your explanation for these apparent star trails is that, I mean, look how many thousands of stars there are in the northern hemisphere, and we've got the same in the southern hemisphere. We've got these at the equator. Your explanation is these individual stars are somehow dancing around the Earth, all like they're on Strictly Come Dancing in some sort of pattern. You've got no explanation for how on earth they are coordinating themselves so beautifully in the sky. They're just doing it for shits and giggles. And your proof of that is a car driving down the street. And you expect me to sit here and say, oh yeah, Flatzoid has proved that the Earth is stationary. Yes, well done. Right, Flatzoid, I'm going to declare now that the most obvious proof that the Earth is moving or stationary is the star trails, and you have not provided any evidence other than that. The chat agree with me, I agree with me, you don't agree with me, I don't care. Let's move on to number 2.
Okay, can I give my statement now?
Please do.
You must have some kind of problem if you can't feel movement on a train or a car or a plane, because you know your ear vibrates and that's how you feel movement. A train, I've done a 24-hour trip on a train, and believe me, I felt every single second of it. I knew I was moving even with my eyes closed. On a plane, you feel the vibrations of that jet engine. So it's bullshit when you come and say you do not feel movement just because you're not looking. Second of all, I actually give the mechanics on how it's working and why it's working. So just because you are throwing it away because you want to be biased and say I haven't proved anything is just you being dishonest. And I do have to say thank you that you agreed you do not feel movement, and thus validating my opening statement when I say it's all got to do with your perception. If you didn't know someone told you it's been moving, you wouldn't know it's moving. Hence, validating argument number 1. Okay, number 2.
So to sum that up, can I just respond to that and you can get to number 2? So to sum that up, your argument that the Earth is stationary is that a jet plane has engines which sends vibrations through the plane, which we feel, and because we don't feel that on the Earth, then what? The Earth is stationary, or it doesn't have jet engines? I don't know, but you've shown a car driving down the street. It's all very compelling stuff, Flatzoid. Well done. Go and rewrite the textbooks. That is absolutely awesome. But I'm going to stick with the actual observations that I brought. You didn't bring any observations. You just said the Earth is stationary and show me a picture of a car going down the street. So well done. If that is the quality of your evidence, brilliant. Let's move on to number 2, because I know watching the chat and the chat on your channel that you're not gone down very well with that. So let's go on to number 2, see if you can salvage something. Off you go.
Okay, so in other words, just to iterate, he says because I explain it with mechanics, I'm wrong, and because he just has a belief it spins, therefore it spins. Okay, next, number 2. What's your next one?
Oh, mine? Well, we haven't even got to my my first one yet. My first one is objects disappearing over the horizon. Now, I'll tell you why this is evidence. Because not only do they disappear over the horizon every single time, Flatzoid, every single time, not every now and then, like when you see something like the Black Swan. Because I live on an island, I can go to the top of Scotland or down south, I can look east, I can look west, I can look on the diagonals. Every single direction I look, we see things moving away and then disappearing bottom up. We see the sun dropping below the horizon. We see cities where if it's not below the horizon, then everybody there must have gills or something because they're completely drowned. I showed you a picture here where we got it of our underwater wind turbines. Absolutely amazing. We see it all of the time. So if your rebuttal to that is, oh, black swan, right, which doesn't even look like that all of the time, then we may as well skip on to number 3 because, again, you've got absolutely nothing. You brought nothing, and I'm looking forward to this. So go on, debunk the curve of the horizon by saying, oh, it's not physical. Off you go.
Remember, I actually gave you a demonstration showing this. I might as well show you another demonstration where I show the sun seeming to set over a flat Earth. Okay, I cannot share screen because you're sharing. Would you please unshare screen? Okay, sharing screen. Now, remember, I show demonstrations of everything I claim. You have yet to show demonstrations, you only show pictures of stuff. But anyway, remember, just note what's happening here. You just said sun cannot set. You said things cannot go bottom up of obstruction in the distance on a flat Earth. Please do pay attention. Now note, I'm keeping the light at exactly the same altitude, guys. You see when I started, the closest position was in the top. Is it seeming to have an apparent drop as it goes away in the distance? You know, like what perspective ascribes to happen? Now, as we know, when something goes into this, there's mountains, there's the sea with waves, there's dust, there's buildings, trees, and what happens? It occulted due to the angle that is limited between you and the so-called setting sun. Or in some cases, the boat going over the so-called horizon, because the wave that's closer has a larger limited angle. I've done extensive presentations on this just for you cats, so please do go and watch those presentations where I literally explain it with orthographic and perspective view. You see, it's exactly the same altitude, yet it sank under the horizon. Weird how I can demonstrate this on a flat surface. So again, tell me how we cannot do this.
Fantastic. Yeah, can I share a screen? So, let's have a... Okay. I'll just share my screen. So, basically, I brought things disappearing over the horizon. I talked about boats and stuff like that, which, I don't know, you just completely ignored. And then you showed me yourself dragging a lamp, which across your floor for some reason. And it didn't look like what we see here, with something dropping like this. It looked like this top one here, right? What you had to do then is you had to stick a big, massive thing in the way of the sun so we couldn't see it, right? Which is not what we have here, is it, Flatzoid? There's no huge, big bump in the middle of the sea, is there? So, yeah, if you want to take a metal block and block out a lamp and say, oh, that's how the sun sets, you do you, mate. But everybody watching that knows 100% that what you've just shown is not like this whatsoever. Now, you've already, in your opening statement, agreed that the sun, or that this observation is exactly what we would expect to see on a globe Earth. Unless you're going to deny that now, no. So not only do you agree that star trails are what we would expect to see on a globe, you also agree that this is what we're going to expect to see on a globe. And your way of debunking star trails, let us just remember, everybody, is to film a car driving down the street. Awesome job. And your way of debunking the sun setting is to get a big piece of metal, or whatever that is, and hide a lamp behind it. Can you not see, Flatzoid, how desperately you're trying to make your religious beliefs fit by fudging experiments as much as you possibly can, rather than starting with the actual observations and working back from there, right? That is what you're doing. What you've literally just done there is horrific. Please snap out of these delusions that you have. Okay. I'm hoping that when this debate is over, you'll look back and go, God, he's ripped that apart. He's ripped apart the fact that what I'm doing here is no way analogous to this. Of course it's not analogous to that. That's ridiculous to believe what you've done is anything like this. It's ridiculous to claim that a car driving down the street is anything like this, right? Your star trails, it's ridiculous. So if it makes you happy for now, brilliant, all right? But I hope after this debate, when it's all died down, you think about it, because honestly, man, you need to snap out of this nonsense.
Okay, you're done. where I can show actual demonstrations and presentations of everything. Have you shown one demonstration of everything yet, except just show a picture and then claim a correlation-based religion?
So the question that we agreed to debate on was evidence that supported our model. And I made it very clear in the opening statement to everybody that this was going to be a debate on honesty for me. And it was going to be about asking the question, would you expect to see X on a globe? Now, you've already told me that you would expect to see this on a globe. You've already admitted that. You've already told me that you would expect to see circumpolar stars on a globe. You've already admitted that. But to deal with it and kind of package it away in your flat earth delusions, you've shown me a car driving down the street and a lamp hidden by a piece of metal. All right? So I have shown you what I promised to bring. So we can move on to either my next bit of evidence
like
or
I'm
yours.
saying, I show you actual demonstration, the mechanics of why it is, you know, doing physical demonstrations, explaining it to you, and then you are ignoring it. I can do another bottom-up obstruction one, if you can let me share my screen, because me, unlike you, I actually do demonstrations. I don't just make assertions based on a religious belief. You guys can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to change elevation. Can you see the compression? Can you see those backlights? Oh wait, no you can't. Why? Now remember, they're all exactly the same elevation. Light 1, 2 light at the back. So what's blocking the light in the back? Would that be the Rayleigh criterion and the limited angle because it's too acute? Golden Catz, you should know all about this. So? Any explanation?
Would you like to discuss the Rayleigh criteria?
Any explanation? I'm asking you. Any explanation for this demonstration?
An explanation for what? I mean, what exactly are you talking about here?
Is those lights in the background vanishing at exactly the same elevation as the rest of the lights?
So what you're saying, how long is that room, Flatzoid?
That's about 10 meters.
Right. So a room... A room is 10 meters long.
It's a spray booth.
You move a camera behind, you know,
not behind anything.
So you move a camera so you can't see a light in the distance in a 10-meter long room. What if you are correct in what you're saying? How on earth can we see ships that are 3 miles out just start dipping below there?
You know what this shows you?
It's a 10-meter room.
Do you know what this shows you? Do you know what this shows you? This shows you the angle gets too acute.
It shows me that you're hiding a camera. You're putting a camera level below level with some lights on the floor.
Look here.
Sorry.
Can you let me talk instead of talking over me every time? I'm trying to explain to you.
Let me just say this, then I'll be quiet. I'll just be quiet. We have discussed 3 pieces of evidence, and your debunks, right, of the sun setting and star trails essentially amount to watching a car drive down the street, to hiding a lamp behind a piece of metal, and then hiding a camera or putting a camera at an angle where some lights in a 10-meter room are imagine scaling that up. Someone would walk down the street, they'd be gone in no time at all. If somebody ran a 200-meter sprint on a straight track, you'd only be able to see the head by the time they got to the end of the track. Do you honestly think this comports with reality? Do you honestly think this is actually related in any way to what we see? Flatzoid, you are clutching at straws. These delusions are not doing you any favors. I will shut up. Now,
wow. The projection is hectic, guys. The projection is hectic with this guy. I show actual diagrams and presentations and demonstrations, and yet I'm the one that's clutching at straws. This is really sad, guys. What has he shown? He's shown just a picture and say, I believe it's that, so therefore it's that. So he's just saying correlation on faith. Where I show actual demonstration, I explain why the mechanics works that way, and I'm the one that's not bringing anything. Let me explain just this one picture to you, Catz, because it seems you have a hard time understanding optics. Angle to first object. Remember, shit shrinks in the distance. Is a different angle to the object in the distance. So this angle is larger than this angle. Therefore, it becomes more acute as it moves away in the distance. So therefore, you have bottom-up obstruction. Thanks to the Rayleigh criterion, the ground will have the larger angular size, and you will see the ground before you see the bottom of that object because it's too small to recognize. Simple fact. Thank you very much.
Wow, that was awesome. So, should we get into a discussion about the Rayleigh criterion? Do you want to get into a deep physics discussion with me, Flatzoid? Because I've kept it quite simple up to this point.
Civil.
But we can talk actual mathematics, Rayleigh criterion, and physics. I'll give you the option, yes or no. Do you want to go down the route where we actually start discussing the Rayleigh criterion and mathematics?
No, because you first of all,
No,
you haven't.
brilliant. Let's move on to number 3.
We haven't
Let's
even
move on to
finished 1
number
and 2
3.
yet. And amazing.
Right, so is it, whose turn is it to give a point? Is it yours or mine?
Go ahead. You've been doing it all night anyway.
Thank you. And doing it brilliantly, by the way.
Well, there's one thing in the chat that a lot of people are asking about. One of Flatzoid's rebuttals was about, to your thing, Catz, was the plasma moon is the answer to the shadows. I don't know if you guys want to discuss that, but the chat are really excited to hear about Flatzoid's rebuttal to your shadows on the moon.
Brilliant. Let him go for that, yeah.
Okay. What's your rebut about it? Shadows. He said shadows can only curve on a sphered surface, which is false. If it's
No, I didn't say that. I said that the shadow on the moon during a lunar eclipse is spherical because it's the shadow of the Earth cast on the moon. So that implies, obviously, that the Earth is spherical. That's what I said. That happens during only a lunar eclipse.
Okay,
That's
and
what I'm
based on a
referring
flat Earth model, the lunar eclipse is based on what? The plasma.
Well, I don't know, because flat Earth is nonsense. Why are you asking me about a flat Earth model? Why are you asking me about that?
Oh, I thought we were trying to bring both evidences here. Why are you only trying to bring yours now and just obfuscate from mine? If it's plasma,
I'm sorry.
can it regenerate
You want
itself?
me to bring flat Earth evidence?
If it's plasma,
Seriously?
can it regenerate itself?
You want me to bring evidence for... So
Can
you want me to bring
plasma
evidence for
regenerate?
flat
Why not answering me? Can plasma regenerate itself, Catz? Very simple answer. Yes
What
or
are
no?
you referring to? Are you referring to blood plasma? Are you talking about ionized gas when you talk
Ionized
about
gas,
plasma? What
plasma.
type
That's what plasma is. Ionized gas. Come on. Can it
of-
regenerate
and when you
itself?
say regenerate itself, what do you mean?
Like the phases of the moon, or when it has eclipse, it has the
Sorry,
so-called shadow.
So let me... The question was this.
Can
right?
it? It's a
Please
simple
let your
yes or no.
answer match the question. The question was... When you said about plasma and can it regenerate itself, I said, what do you mean by plasma regenerating itself? So that was the question. When we talk about ionized gas and plasma regenerating itself, that was the question. Your answer to can plasma gas regenerate itself was the phases of the moon. Now, that is an answer to a different question, Flatzoid. The question I'm asking is, what do you mean when you say plasma can regenerate itself? Can I have an answer to that question?
Okay, it's just the way it has the phases, just like you have an eclipse.
Sorry, plasma. We've just agreed that plasma was ionized gas.
Yes.
You asked me, can plasma regenerate itself? I asked you, because I wasn't sure what you were talking about, whether you were talking about electrons,
Ionized
free
gas,
electrons
exactly,
being locked
yeah.
up by positive ions. I didn't know what you were talking about. So I asked you, what does regenerating plasma mean? And you said the phases of the moon. So can you see how your answer is an answer to a different question, maybe a question
Not
like,
actually.
what is on screen right now? You're showing a picture of the phases of the moon. That's the kind of answer that your question, that's the kind of question that your answer's been to, but it's not the answer to my question. So can you specifically tell me what you mean by the sentence, can plasma regenerate itself? Just that word.
Again, what is the cause of ionized gas?
So, right. The question was, Flatzoid.
What's the cause of ionized
you
gas?
asked me the question.
Can you just
asked me
answer
the
me?
question, can plasma regenerate itself? I asked you to clarify the question for
And
the
I did.
benefit of the 900 people watching and the 2 people watching on your channel, and
2 people.
I want an answer. What
I've got
do you
like 60
mean by
people on my
can
channel right
plasma
now.
regenerate itself?
2 people. Okay.
What do you mean by the question?
Again, how is ionized gas generating itself into plasma?
No. You said, can
I'm asking
plasma
you.
regenerate
It's a simple
itself?
question.
Did you misspeak?
I'm trying to get you to get it, but you're not answering.
No,
Is it simple
just
yes
tell
or
me.
no?
Tell me what you meant by the question, or you misspoke. If you misspoke, just tell me you misspoke. But just tell me what you meant by the question. Don't lead me around the houses. I'm
I'm
not going that
trying
way.
to, if you would stop talking for 2 seconds.
So
Jeez.
tell me what you meant. Go.
Simple. It has a cycle. It goes through this cycle. So
Tell me
it
what you meant by the
regenerates itself
question.
based on electromagnetic forces.
Tell me what you...
Okay, so I believe the question was, what do you mean by plasma regenerating itself, Flatzoid? Can you answer that question? That way we can get the question that you asked, make sure we get that answered, because I think that a lot of people on the sides would like to know the answer to both of those questions. That way we can move forward.
Okay, like I'm saying, ionized gas regenerating itself is just me trying to say it goes through a cycle. So it's just regenerating based on the electromagnetic forces. That was it.
So can I just define, you asked me the question, because we're still all very unclear, you asked me the question, how does, or just does, plasma regenerate itself? That's what you asked me. And I said, what does that mean? And you said, the phases of the moon or something, I have no idea. Your answer there still doesn't help. Can you just tell me what you mean by the word regenerate in that question? Just that one word. What do you mean by that one word? It's really nice and simple.
Electromagnetic forces creates
so
the
electromagnetic
cycle.
forces means regenerate. Does the word regenerate mean electromagnetic forces? Is that what you're trying to tell me, Flatzoid?
I say it goes through a cycle thanks to the electromagnetic forces. What's so hard to understand?
Regenerate mean in your question? I want to answer your question. You asked me, does plasma regenerate? I have asked you about 50 times, what do you mean by the word regenerate?
I just answered you.
I'm going to make this really specific and clear. Just tell me what you meant by the word regenerate, so we all know that you're not making this up.
I just told you.
You've got some idea what you're talking about.
I just told you. The electromagnetic forces and how they work with the ionized gases helps it to regenerate. So therefore it is cycling. Do you get it?
So what I said originally was right. You are talking about when a gas is either superheated or, when it gets extremely energetic, some electrons can be lost. So we have this sea of positive ions and free electrons. And you're saying the electrostatic forces between those may then cause some of the free electrons to be mopped up by some of the positive ions, right? That's not regenerating plasma. What that is doing is removing ions and free electrons and reforming atoms in the earth. So when lightning strikes, it gets very, very hot. The air gets ionized. We have free electrons. We have positive nuclei. Electrostatic forces pull them together, and that's it. There's no cycle. It's it. They've been broken apart and put back together. Now, everybody, there's about 1,000 people in the chat all wanting to know what that's got to do with moon phases or the shadow of the Earth on the moon. I know you're going to give us a good answer, so I'll put myself on mute.
So there's no electromagnetic fields above the Earth?
Okay, so let's go again. There is no...
How much times are you going to repeat yourself? I'm literally... you're making my point when you brought up lightning.
Brilliant. Would you like me to tell you what electric fields surround? What does an electric field surround, Flatzoid?
Everything.
Right. Electric fields surround charged particles, of course, things with a charge. So when you say there's no electromagnetic field in the Earth...
I never said that. I'm saying, is that what you're saying?
No, clearly not. What I'm saying, I'm telling you now. Okay. What I'm saying is when the ionization occurs, we end up with free electrons, we end up with positive ions, and we can treat them as point charges. Each will have their own radial electric field, and the field lines will act in opposite directions because they've got opposite charges. That will result in an electrostatic force, which will pull them together. And then when they are together, the sum of those forces, the sum of those electrostatic charges the charges is zero after they've been pulled back together. But when they are separate, the sum is not zero around each charge. So then they will be pulled back together. So I have no idea, and the chat is still confused. What has this got to do about moon phases? Please tell us.
Like I said, you're making my point. So when the electrostatic charges change in frequency, it changes the phases. So when you have an eclipse, listen, when you have an eclipse, could it just be the cycle it's going through?
So when you say an electrostatic charge changes in frequency, what do you mean? And I'll give you a heads up on this one. Right. So how does the size of a charge, or what is the relationship between the size of a charge and vibration?
It's the temperature. More energy.
So the relationship between size of charge and vibration is temperature. Are you talking about vibration of the ions and electrons?
Yes.
Or are you talking about, right, so we're not actually talking about the frequency of an electric field. You're
no,
just
the electric field is what conducts.
Have.
The electric field is what conducts its cycle. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Right, so let me get this straight.
Right, thank you.
No, because what you said is complete bullshit. But what you're basically saying is this.
So when you're in an arc reactor and you have ionized gas, it's not caused by electrostatic forces.
So what you're saying is we have ionized gas. You're saying we've got ionized gas, right? So 3 electrons have been lost. We've got positive nuclei behind. And then electrostatic forces allow the positive nuclei to mop up the electrons. And then you've taken that, and this is the bit I'm gonna ask you on now. You've taken that leap to then talk about the fact that they pulled each other together. It's something vague to do with frequencies. Ooh, something really vague to do with frequencies, and that is somehow vaguely linked to moon phases. Can you solidify that and tell us, like, really in detail, what the hell you're on about when you talk about frequencies having something to do with moon phases? Because you're inventing a new brand of physics. We all want to hear it.
New brand of physics. So you've never seen an arc reactor before with ionized gas inside. What happens when...
So an arc reactor causes the moon phase?
No.
In what way is the moon phase like...
What is with your red herrings and straw mans? Just listen to what I'm saying. How does it cause the ionized gas to behave when you change the frequency?
The frequency of what?
The electromagnetic...
What? What the hell are you talking about? The frequency of what?
If you put more power, does it change...
That doesn't change the frequency. The frequency of an alternating current isn't to do with the power. The frequency of an alternating current is to do with how often the terminals switch. Not the voltage.
No, that's DC.
Not the current.
DC is switching. Alternate current. Direct current is straight. Is ions go direct or alternate?
Is ions current? Ions aren't a current. Ions will move a particular way in an electric field.
Do ion gases run on alternate current or DC?
Do ion gases run on a... What are you talking... Right, so let me just explain to you this, how it works.
Because you're confusing me here because you keep changing your story. I'm just picking off of what you're talking about.
Gas, Flatzoid, the cations will move to the cathode. The anions will move to the anode. If the anion and anodes... if the cathode and anodes change places, then you're going to get alternating forces on those ions. If you don't change places, they'll be in the same direction. So can you clarify your question when you say, do ionized gases work on electric... And I don't know why you're asking me, you should tell me. Can you clarify your question?
In other words, how does an arc reactor work? Would you know how an arc reactor works? No, I just want to know, would you know how an arc reactor works to create plasma gas, ionized gas?
Yeah, ionized gas is produced by having so much energy that you cause ionization. You meet the ionization energy of the atoms, and 3 electrons are released into the... or electrons are released from each atom. So it's usually done by super high temperatures.
Okay. And if
then
the moon is plasma...
those ions will move to the opposite electrode.
Okay, and if the moon is plasma and it has those frequencies, what happens? Would it be able
what frequencies?
I'm just saying, based on the energy, would it be able to change and have its so-called shadow as it regenerates?
The thing about people that believe in woo is that they throw out the words frequency and energies without knowing what they're talking about. So let's pin you down on this. When you talk about the frequency of the moon, can you define, for the 1,000 people watching on this channel and the 4 or 5 people watching on your channel, can you define what you mean by the frequency of the moon?
Again, not the frequency of the moon, of the electromagnetic forces attributing to the moon phases.
So here we go again. Electromagnetic forces, we can look at Coulomb's law, right? So Coulomb's law, we've got K, Q1, Q2 over R squared, and that will determine the size of the electrostatic force between 2 charged particles. Now, nowhere in Coulomb's law, if anybody Googles it, does it talk about frequency. So has your understanding of electrostatic forces gone beyond Coulomb himself? Can you tell us what you mean?
Again, just about the temperature. That's what I was saying with frequency. Temperature change.
The frequency of what? I'm asking the question because I really want to know. I want to learn.
What happens when temperature changes, frequency changes? It moves faster. It has more energy. Temperature goes up. So you're adding more energy into the system. So when you take energy and when you remove energy, transfer it somewhere, or you put more energy into the system, what happens? Does it have the same phase or does it change?
No one knows what the fuck you're talking about. Can you tell us what frequency you want to, so then we can move on. What do you mean when you say the frequency? The frequency of what?
More power of electromagnetic forces attributed to the plasma.
So I've just said to you that electromagnetic forces don't have a frequency. Where did you get the idea that electromagnetic forces between ions have a frequency?
Again, I was trying to explain it with energy levels.
I'll put myself on mute and you can tell us all.
I just did, with energy levels.
Forces have a frequency.
What I was trying to explain with energy levels. As easy as that, Baldy. But again, we're going totally off topic.
Say that again. Let's not skip past it. Let's hold your toes to the fire and talk about it. Say it slowly so everybody can hear. What do you mean by the frequency of electromagnetic forces?
Energy transmitted to have the ion gases moving in their cycle.
So you mean that energy, is frequency? Is that what you're saying? Energy
I was explaining it with frequency.
Brilliant. Can you please explain it better because nobody knows what you mean?
More heat, faster movement. Less temperature, less movement.
Right. Now that would have been far, far better.
That's what I said the whole time.
Both in terms like frequency.
That's what I said the whole time.
What you're saying, as the temperature increases, the movement of particles increases because they have more kinetic energy. Is that, have I made your argument for you? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Okay, what the hell has that got to do with moon phases?
If the moon is plasma, it goes through the phases and therefore it has different energy levels across the moon.
See, the problem with plasma, Flatzoid, is it's invisible. When you look,
is it? Should I quickly show you? Should I quickly show you a plasma?
Yeah, what you see when you're looking at plasma is actually electromagnetic radiation being given out by the de-excitation of electrons in the form of light.
Oh wow! But now it's not invisible anymore. Weird.
Right, and does it ever look solid? When you see that light being, does it ever look solid? Does it ever perhaps look extremely solid and have shadows on the surfaces? Shadows that move across. There we go, it's a perfect representation of the moon. Can we just pause that there? And go back to
weird. What's that showing there? Katz, what is that showing there?
Absolutely nothing to do with the moon.
Oh, no, really? No. Would that be a frequency?
Awesome, that's amazing.
Would that be a frequency?
A frequency of what? What are you?
The energy?
What energy? Like
so they're not putting energy into the system.
That is amazing. And show me the system.
But you just said it's got nothing to do with it. Really odd.
Show me the system. Show me the system.
There we go. Oh, look how it's moving. Check how it's moving.
Does that look anything like the moon?
Look how it's moving based on that. Yeah. Weird.
Does the moon do that?
Is that now invisible?
Does the moon do that? Yes or no?
Is that part invisible and that part you can see, which you said you cannot see?
It's an honesty test. Does the moon move like that? Yes or no?
No, because this is just an example of ion gases. I never said this was the moon. There's a difference. So stop putting a false equivalence.
No, it's not a false equivalence because you said
I brought this up.
The moon is plasma.
I brought this up because you said plasma cannot be seen. You told everyone here you cannot see this.
Hang on a second.
So I brought this up.
We're starting to roll over each other. So let's see if we can find a spot where we can agree to begin from or restart from. So the question about plasma has been brought up, and there's a lot has been said about plasma. I don't think we've gotten anywhere on this point. So there's a claim of false equivalence. Flatzoid, can you explain what you mean by false equivalence?
He's taking this and he's saying I'm saying it's the moon. I'm not saying it's the moon. He said simply, he made a claim that you cannot see the gas, and I proved him wrong by showing you can see the gas. That was as simple as that.
Okay. And I believe that, Catz, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're trying to clarify how plasma relates to the moon claim, correct?
Yeah, the whole thing is, we talked about the moon and the shape of the Earth's shadow on the moon, and Flatzoid specifically said, anybody can wind back and listen, if the moon was plasma, and then we got debunked on got derailed on the whole frequency and stuff when he made things up. So his claim is essentially that somehow the moon is plasma. Yet when he shows me some plasma, it looks absolutely nothing like it.
I said if. Remember your key word here, if. I didn't say it was. Right. So it's a speculation.
But in that case, can I ask, why would you say that the moon might be plasma?
I said it could be plasma, and that's why you see the shadows the way they do with the eclipse.
Okay, so can I ask you again? Why did you say the moon might be plasma? Is it you saying that just because the moon has a repeatable pattern of shadows on it? Are you saying the moon might be plasma just because there is a repeat? Right. So basically, rather than the likelihood, if we're going to compare the two models, rather than the fact that the phases of the moon fit perfectly with everything else we see, if I can share my screen, FJP.
Phases of the moon worked on the flat Earth before Globe Earth even came into the story, by the way.
I will tell you what I'm thinking. Can I share my screen, FJP?
You should get.
Oh, my, it's not come up on my thing. Oh, can you see the field on the screen now?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. It's there. So when we look at observations like this, that the globe comports to, when we look at this, that the globe comports to, when we look at this, that the globe comports to, that you've all agreed it comports to, you've agreed it comports to the way the sun sets, you've agreed that it comports to this, you've agreed that it comports to this, you've agreed that it comports to this, you've agreed it comports to that, you've agreed all these things, but when we come to the moon, you're saying actually what's more likely than the Earth being a globe is that the moon is made of ionized gas, some sort of plasma, and for some reason that you can't even explain, there are shadows inside the crater of the moon, and a shadow that moves across the moon in a regular repeatable pattern that holds the shape of the Earth on it, for an eclipse at least anyway. And you're going to claim that the most likely explanation for that is that the moon is plasma, and when you try and show me that, the picture of plasma you show me is dancing around like my nan on fire, looking nothing like the moon whatsoever, looking bright blue, having no craters, having no shadows, having no characteristics of the moon whatsoever, and you are going to tell me that that is a more likely explanation for the moon than the moon actually being a big spherical rock illuminated by the sun. Just like you said that a car driving down the street was a brilliant explanation of star trails, and hiding a torch with a piece of metal was a brilliant explanation for sunsets. So I now understand your argument. Forgive me if I am not swayed by it.
Can I please share my screen?
Oh, please do.
Share screen. I wonder if you've heard of this guy before.
Pick up its error.
I consider myself to be an ordinary, humble person who wants to serve mankind with what man has striven for.
Remember, he was a heliocentric scientist.
From the beginning of consciousness, with truth and understanding of the world.
Uh-huh.
Well, now, one thing, you have a theory about the moon, and we expect to be able to get observable facts about the moon fairly soon. What is your theory?
Well, it is by now rather more than a theory. 10 or 11 years ago, I stated
I just don't know about the music, I just
to
want you to
various
talk.
scientists that the moon is not a piece of rock.
I started updating this before on my
There
channel.
we go, this is what I wanted to show. Okay, I'm just going to mute it though, but anyway, he's saying the moon is plasma, okay? See, there we go, very simple. If it's in, like the, listen, you remember this is supposed to be with the flat earth model in the water, it's in the firmament, so therefore it can have the phases, just like we see, with actual demonstration.
Yeah.
Where's your guys' actual demonstration?
See any way in which that doesn't behave like the moon.
Where's your actual demonstration?
See any way in which dipping a plate in water that's coloured blue does not represent the moon. I cannot debunk that. I can't think of any reason why dipping a plate in some water doesn't replicate the shadows moving across the craters of the Earth. Seriously.
So was that a spherical plate? Was that a spherical plate?
Oh, well, there we go. Debate's over. He showed a spherical plate in water.
I said, was it a spherical plate?
Well, half of it was underwater, but I will trust
No, it wasn't a spherical plate, but it still had what you said was impossible to show on the flat Earth. So that's the whole point.
Sorry, no. I never said dipping a plate in water was
demonstration.
To show
Again,
on a
it was about the demonstration, not the dipping the plate. It's about
Well, let's dive into that demonstration. Can you please tell me how that demonstration causes a repeatable 29.5-day cycle of a waxing on, waxing off shadow from the right to the left on the moon? How does that do that?
Easy. Plasma.
Well, because easy plasma. Well, let's go back to plasma. How does plasma create a 29.5-day repeatable cycle over the moon, or are you just clutching at straws?
If you have the same energy levels going the same cycle, it's going to do the same cycle.
What do you mean energy levels?
I mean...
What do you mean energy levels?
Electromagnetic forces.
Right, so we go back again. Electromagnetic forces, right? We talked about, remember we talked about this, Flatzoid, about Coulomb's law and the attraction between different oppositely charged objects, etc. You're going back to the fact that oppositely charged particles have forces acting upon them, and you're saying, that'll do, that's how the moon phases work.
I said it's possible. I didn't say it is, remember? You even said if. It was just based on the flat Earth, because you said it is not possible on the flat Earth, so I had to prove you wrong. It is also based on the flat Earth, which invalidated your argument once again.
Awesome. You did a great job of invalidating it. Well done. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that that's bullshit, and we can move on to the next point. What I'll do before I hand over to you is I will just summarise a few things. I will summarise. Can I just show my screen one more time? I will summarise the fact, just for now, and then we'll go on to other stuff. I'm happy to stay here all night. That we talked about bringing repeatable and reproducible observations, right, of our model. And I brought, you know, for example, this and this and this and this and this. Oh, no.
Yeah, I brought that. So remember, I bring actual demonstrations.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. And I brought loads of stuff which you have agreed yourself would be expected on the Earth, if the Earth was a globe. And in return, what you've done to me to say, well, actually, these would also work on a flat Earth, is you've shown me a car driving down the street, you've hidden a torch with a piece of metal, you've put a bit of plate in blue water, what else have you done? Oh yeah, and you showed me some plasma inside a bulb, and said that could be what the moon looks like, even though it looks just as much like the moon as I do to, I don't know, King Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, I have no idea what you brought, Flatzoid.
Okay, can I quickly share my screen?
You can. Can I ask FTF if I can nick to the loo, because I had this massive drink of orange before.
Okay.
I just want to quickly second loo break.
We were going to have about 10 more minutes before we get to Super Chats. So
yes,
yeah, do you want to take a quick break, and then we come back and 10 more minutes of this, and then we get to Super Chats and questions and stuff.
Yeah, can I just share my screen so long, and then we'll wait for him?
Yeah, go ahead.
He's still sharing, so I can't. It's fine. But like I said, everybody... Well, I'm not going to talk about anything while he's not here, so... Anyway, can I just want to address
I've stopped the screen sharing, so you can pop yours up.
Okay, thanks. But I'll wait.
I just want to say, guys in the chat, incredible. We hit 1,132 people at a peak.
Wow,
that's insane. I love you all.
And I just want to say thank you to all my people that's come in. We've hit about 95, which is my best ever so far. So thank you, everybody. And
that
for
is
such
good.
a small channel,
you know what?
Brilliant.
Flatzoid, that is more than about 99% of people that stream on YouTube. So good job.
Yeah, and that's a small channel, so I'm so very happy about that. So thank you, everybody.
It's about 5 times as much as Nathan Oakley gets watching live. So
no, actually gets about 150 these days. Yeah.
I've had fun. What about you, Johnny, so far?
I've had. Why am I looking at my family photos?
I was wondering why. That's a hell of a beard you got going on there.
Okay, Catz.
What are you doing, Flatzoid? Are you doxing me right now?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was bringing cousin Joe here, but he didn't really want to come, so.
Everyone see my pajamas when I came in.
We did.
Yeah, you weren't on camera just then. I'm not wearing any trousers, so you know.
Okay, you can see my screen, Catz.
Oh, for God's sake, yes.
Okay, I'm showing you evidence, just like what your evidence of showing pictures. Therefore, Bigfoot is real, because that is the level of evidence you bring. You show a picture and make a claim that it's real. So I'm showing a picture of Bigfoot. Therefore, I'm claiming he's real. Debunk this, please.
Well,
let
the
me ask.
problem,
Okay,
hang on a second. The problem with your pictures there, Flatzoid, is that I'm sitting right here.
Okay, yeah, he's real.
Clearly real.
Okay, so we'll say this is cousin Joe. Can you prove this isn't cousin Joe, please?
I'll have a go at debunking that incredibly difficult point that you've just presented to me, Flatzoid. What I will say is this. Everything I showed you, in fact, can I share my screen so I can highlight what I mean? So it's all well and good saying, here's a picture of Bigfoot, can you debunk that? Right? But here is, if we take ourselves back to the beginning of the debate, where we both agreed to, and here it is, repeatable and reproducible, and the key word here is observations. Now, no, I can't go out and see Bigfoot with my own eyes, but what I can do with my own eyes, Flatzoid, is see this. So I don't need you to say that's just a picture, because I know, and you do know that you could go out and see that, and you've already said it comports with what we'd expect. You know that we can see that. You know that we can see this. You know that the sun doesn't set like this across the sky, but it does go below the horizon. You know
when you finish, I can
we see stuff like this. So it's very dishonest of you just to say, I'm only bringing pictures. You know you can take your own star trails with a time lapse. You know you can see lunar eclipses yourself. You know you can be in the northern and southern hemisphere and see this. So, no, I can't prove Bigfoot exists because you've shown a picture, because I don't know that I can go and see it. But you and I both know that we can both go and see everything I've brought. Everything. So to actually be reduced to the point at the end of a debate where you're clutching at straws like that, I think just pretty much sums up how badly you've done and why you've lost.
Are we going to do closing statement now, or?
I think we can do closing statements, and then I can do super chats if you like.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And then I believe we're going to be doing an after show on Catz and Toon's channel.
Yeah, because I'm also gonna do super chats and then also a bit of an after show.
Okay. Right. So closing statements. Who wants to go first?
Catz can go first. It's fine.
Yeah, well, I think, listen, I think everybody is, if I can, I am sharing my screen. How long do I get for the closing? 3 minutes. Everybody's seen what's happened here tonight from the beginning to the end. There's very little to say. We've all seen it with our own eyes. We started off with the agreement we will both bring observations and or measurements that are reproducible to support our model of the Earth. Flatzoid has brought none of those. He's basically just said the Earth must be stationary because I've shown a car driving down the street, so that debunks, star trails. He hasn't really said much else, apart from that the moon might look like a blue bit of plasma in a bulb. And this is where I want to bring everything back to, where are we? To this. Now, I don't blame...
You're not sharing your screen right now.
Oh, God, I must look like right idiot doing that. I thought I was.
It's the pajamas, Catz. It's interfering.
Well, they saw your face, so, that's
oh, that's horrific, then. I want to bring everybody back to this, right? Flatzoid knows that the so-called science he's brought doesn't really have anything to do with anything he said. Everybody knows. I mean, it's not a secret. It's not a secret that what he said is absolute tosh. We all know that. We all know that in the chat. My one aim was to come here tonight and to get some honesty. And at least Flatzoid has been honest enough to say that everything I brought is what we would expect on an Earth, on a globe Earth. What he hasn't been able to show in any way, shape or form is anything that reflects a flat Earth. And I think when he goes away from here, he'll think about the so-called evidence he's brought, how it was so easily ripped apart, how his knowledge of the science that he was talking about in terms of frequencies and electrostatic frequencies and wavelengths and energies and all that nonsense, how easily that was ripped apart and how little he knows about the subjects he was talking about. Because deep down, he's religious, nothing wrong with that. Ain't gonna bash you for being religious, not that I am, but I would never bash anybody for being religious, right? But it's all here. Science is only for nature and not for the supernatural. You don't care enough to educate yourself properly about the big things, because to you, God takes care of it. You've got your idea that the earth is flat because of God. Fine, keep hold of that idea. But don't go around pretending you know about science. You've clearly been shown tonight to know less about science than my wet shoelace knows about Pink Floyd. All right? Just have your beliefs and stop preaching stuff that you don't understand. That is my closing statement.
All right, Flatzoid, you have 3 minutes when you begin.
Thank you. Okay. Wow. How can I put this? He tells me I don't bring anything yet. What am I showing here? My video, my video, my video, my video, my video, all having actual demonstrations and mechanics explaining everything that he has shown ignorance to. Also, he says he knows what science is, and yet we haven't even chatted about science here. All he does is he does not know what science is, because we weren't even talking about science this whole debate. Also, he might want to reconsider actually saying he knows what science is if he cannot even know how to set up a hypothesis. Your whole globe is based on pseudoscientific reasoning. It's based on correlation-based, not causation-based, Baldy Catz. So you might want to reconsider. Also, next time, instead of telling me, oh, you show me debunking your claims with actual demonstration is not observable, repeatable. That's what repeatable means. I can actually go out and repeat what I observe. Hence why I have countless demonstrations and observations on my channel. So please do go up, and you guys can actually watch me show presentations showing where I actually explain this stuff to you. Hence why I think he got totally thrashed, and that's why he has not even addressed gas pressure without containment. He ran away from the stationary Earth, and he totally ran away from level water. So thank you again for coming. That's all I have to say. Thank you. It was actually fun, even though you were showing to be dishonest the whole stream.
Oh, come on now. Let's not do the thing.
No, that's the truth.
All right. Well, if you will be so kind as to stop sharing, I would appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Okay.
No worries. Well, that was an interesting discussion, I will say this.
I've had fun. I've had a lot of fun. I've had to keep myself on mute because I was screaming in the background.
It wasn't muted enough.
But on all fairness, I have to say, I don't have anything against you cats and guys. It was really fun. Thanks. We do not agree on things, but I do enjoy this.
Yeah. Now, even though I agree with Catz on a lot of the stuff, Flatzoid, I have watched a lot of your streams lately because I'm writing your episode of First Are Idiots. And there is a big difference between you and people like Nathan Oakley in the way that you present yourself. Even though I may think some of the things you say are dishonest and the way you present them is dishonest, watching you is infinitely more pleasurable than watching someone like Nathan Oakley or Nathan Thompson or many of the other flat earthers. So if you're going to keep pushing the flat earth, be a good representative for flat earth, because at the moment, I think you're probably one of the best representatives out there with the way you are presenting yourself in your streams.
Oh, thank you. I'll take that as a compliment.
Oh, by the way, your time is up. Sorry.
And thanks, Johnny. And I have to say thank you, Johnny, for moderating. Sorry that I got a bit heated earlier.
I like Johnny. He's a good moderator. I'm going to read out super chats. Right. What I'll do quickly, Flatzoid, if it's right with you, I'll just look through my super chats, see if there's any questions specifically for you. Okay. And then you're welcome to leave, and I know you've got to do super chats on your side as well. Is that all right?
Yeah, 100%.
Right. Carnicorn for €5 says, "Can Flatzoid say hi? I'm Korg and I'm made of rocks."
Hi, I'm Pork and I'm made of rocks. I think that's got to do with Michelle. What that Michelle woman saying? We are cousins of rocks.
No, have you not seen the Thor? And there's
with the latest one
guy made of. the guy made of rocks.
Oh, I must say it in the English accent. In the South African accent.
Yeah.
What must I say again?
Hi, I'm Cork, and I'm made of rocks.
Hi, I'm Cork, and I'm made of rocks.
Perfect. Stringer News 1 asks, is there gas pressure in Uranus?
I would hope so. Farts come out a lot.
Andreas Eldritch 56 asks, Flatzoid, does the sun set slightly north or slightly south of due west this time of year?
I'm not really sure, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. Sorry.
Fair enough. Honest answer. I like that. Mary Karen for 15, I'm not really sure what currency that is, but thank you, asks, can you clarify what you mean by calculations and not measurements?
Yeah, measurements, you can physically go and measure something. With calculations, you have an equation, you just calculate, thinking, you have a deduced, I can say outcome based on calculation. It's not measured.
Right, and the follow-up is, can you measure speed?
With RPM. Can you go with RPM?
Just speed in general.
Yeah.
Can you measure a velocity?
Yeah, it's a calculated measurement. So yeah. Because they measure based on the distance. So yeah.
But so it's a calculation, but it is a measurement.
Yeah, but it's based on actual measurements. I can't say you can't calculate based on a measurement. You can, like sextant reading, you're measuring something and then you're doing calculation based on the measurement. That's my point. Just like speed, you can measure it and you're calculating based on the speed, on the measurement.
Oh, okay. There's a lot of insults towards you, so I'll just leave them right now.
I'm used to it by now.
Yeah. Johnny over there. Sorry, just checking if there's any specific questions for you, because I know people like those to get answered. Flatzoid. Tommy Gornville for 50 Nokia says, for Flatzoid, why did you use a bucket or whatever to hide your sun at sunset?
It was a paint can. I was just trying to prove that things can occult it when it has a larger angular size due to the angle towards the sun. So it's the same as just representing a mountain or a tree or a wave or something that has a larger angular size because it's closer.
Right, so to clarify, your claim as to why the sun sets is that there's always something in the way.
Because of the angle, correct.
Can I just say something on that?
Yeah, please.
Of course, because obviously wherever we are in the world, we can predict exactly what time the sun is going to set and what day the sun is going to set, and it changes, doesn't it? The time of sunset changes, constantly. So if you're going to claim that the sun sets purely because there's something in the way, then why does the sun set, why does the sun set so predictably and easily, whether it's over a mountain range or whether it is over flat water, or why is it so easy to predict? No matter where you are in the world, it's not just some random something in the way. Are you claiming there's huge monster waves at sea that are? It just doesn't make any sense.
No, it's just when the angle gets too limited to sea, then you have something that's going to be closer with a larger angular size than that limited angle. Therefore, it occults the sun.
That's fair enough. It's just a minute ago you said that something would always block it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Based on angles.
It's just something to do with angles, and we don't know how we can use that to predict exact times. It's just something to do with angles. Got it. Understood. Thank you.
It's always angles.
Excellent. Right. Next one. Pyro148 for $2 asks, Flatzoid, where does the energies for the moon come from that change the frequencies of the plasma?
It was just speculation, but anyway, yeah, like I was saying, it just could be electromagnetic forces above there, so you don't know.
But you couldn't specify where those forces would come from? No,
like I said, the only point I wasn't making, I wasn't claiming it. I was just saying, because he made a claim, you could not have this on a flat Earth, so I told him, based on a flat Earth model, it could happen. That's what I was also saying. Because there are flat Earth models that said it's plasma.
Okay. Earth is Life for $10 says, Flatzoid, do you agree with the straight line measured distances that are on Google Earth?
Yeah, Google Earth is a flat Earth map. Have you checked the elevation angles yet? It's all straight, flat, horizontal.
Whoo! Good
Zero,
lord.
zero.
Please, somebody clip that.
Yeah, and while you do that, actually go on Google Earth and go to the elevation angles and you'll see what I mean.
JSS Tiger for $5 says, Flatzoid, do you know that frequency is to do with the number of oscillations of a wave per unit of time?
Yeah, energy. That's what I was trying to explain to him. It moves faster and it moves slower. Frequency, energy.
Right,
Oscillations is frequency.
And that change in frequency can make parts of the moon invisible.
Based on that, what I was trying to explain, yeah.
Makes sense, perfect sense.
Yeah, 100%. Timo Lynch, €5. Flatzoid, if you want about gas pressure without containers, please explain pressure gradients in atmosphere and liquids.
Very simple. It's got to do with gas behavior and how it behaves based on temperatures and volumes. Maybe go learn the ideal gas law because it kind of explains it, even though it's just a... Yeah?
Yeah, those were all words, definitely. Conal Silver for $5. Question for Flatzoid. If the moon is plasma, how did we leave retroreflectors? Yes. And yes, they have been confirmed multiple times.
I don't know. You tell me. Like I said, I wasn't claiming it is plasma. I was just simply rebutting based on a flat earth model because he said, his claim was it cannot happen on a flat earth. So I used the flat earth model to rebut his argument.
Just a couple more for you, Flatside. Megan Satanas, member for 25 months. That's more than twice around the sun. Get in. Says, Flatzoid, do you drink your own pee?
Definitely no. Okay.
That's a good thing. Because Nathan Oakley does. Earth is Life for $10 says, Flatzoid, do you agree with the measured straight line distances between Johannesburg and Sydney, which is 6,863 miles?
I haven't measured myself, so obviously I'll have to agree with it. Because it seems to be working.
Okay. All right, well, that is all the questions for you, Flatzoid. I know you've got your own stream to finish up, so you feel free to leave. And thank you very much for being courteous enough to come and do this debate. I do appreciate it. You're showing the other flat earthers how to act. You're stepping out of your channel. You're coming and talking to other people. You're being relatively decent enough to engage. And you're not just threatening to, stick your ball bags in people's mouths, etc., etc. So please keep up the good work because it gives me infinite content to make videos about.
Glad I can help. But again, thank you, Johnny, for being a moderator. Thank you, Katz, and thank you, Craig. Hopefully we can do this sometime again. And don't forget, tomorrow night it's McToon. So that's going to be quite fun.
Yes, tomorrow night, guys. Flatzoid is debating MC Toon, and it's going to be a good one. We'll talk a bit more about that in the after show.
Can I just say something to Johnny before we finish up?
Yeah, I've got a few more super chats.
Sorry, mate. Sorry.
No, you do that, and then I'll read the rest of the super chats.
All right. Well, just before Flatzoid goes, I want to say this publicly rather than just behind the scenes. I knew tonight when I came into this debate that if I wasn't forceful and aggressive, which is not how I normally like to debate, I knew that it would just be me listening to a lot of waffle, and I knew I had to hold somebody's toes to the fire, and that would require me constantly interrupting and butting in. And I knew that whoever was moderating would have a job on their hands. And I just think Johnny did an absolutely brilliant job. And I apologise that sometimes I was, and I know, and you know that I was sometimes over the top in trying to hold Flatzoid's feet to the fire with it. And it was always going to be my plan. But I don't feel nice about having to put you through that. And I want to apologise for it, but also just say that you handled it brilliantly, like a proper pro, and what a great job. So that's not what I'm always like. Anyone who's watched the Agree to Disagree knows I'm not always like that.
You've been watching too many of my debates, haven't you, Katz?
It was a special event tonight that meant I had to approach it in a special way, but you did a great job, Johnny, and I'm sorry for making you have to mute me at certain points, so thank you.
I wanted to say it's odd because not your character how you are tonight. So I feel honoured. Thank you, Katz.
Cheers again, Flatzoid. I appreciate
cheers, guys.
it. And thank you to everyone on Flatzoid's stream. Keep supporting Flatzoid because it's going to give me content.
Okay, cheers, guys. Appreciate it. Bye.
See you later.
Bye. Oh, wow. Guys, that was quite something, hey? Does anybody want to come and chat a bit? My Discord is open and my Gilded is open, so it would be great if anybody wants to come and talk. What do you guys have to say about that? I mean, I can't believe it. Although Catz is trying to say, oh yeah, I forgot about the CC approximate. Sorry, Travis, I forgot about that totally. I got so sidetracked trying to explain the plasma BS to the guy. Yeah, so thank you all for coming. Thank you everybody that sent super chats. I can't see my super chats now, but I know it was Skeptic. I know it was PJ. I know there was another 2 people. So I'm really appreciate you guys sending the super chats. You guys rock. Also good to see you guys enjoying the stream. 68% said yes out of 161 votes. So I'm very happy about that. Thanks guys. Yes, then tomorrow night is going to be on Perspective with McToon. Let's just hope he brings more of an argument than Catz did, because all Catz did was obfuscate and deny everything presented. That's all he did from the start. And notice how he totally ran away from gas pressure without containment. He did not even want to address that. Yeah. Come back to reality, YouTube. Yeah, good one. So again, yeah, if anybody wants to come and chat just for about 20 minutes, then I'm going to close off. So yeah, again, thank you all for being here. I really do appreciate you guys' support, and I actually had fun. It was the first debate ever with Catz. I didn't know what to expect. As usually, like I said, he does usually have a very other style, very laid back, but tonight he was going full out triggered. But I know why he was triggered. He wasn't planning to be that way. It was because he had nothing. He literally had no argument. So yeah, I'm going to get some nice clips out of this for some future videos. He kind of spoke himself in a corner a few times, and I'm going to stick to my facts and say he was nice and dishonest. That's about it. Yeah, they don't have an argument, Jess. Exactly. So is anybody interested to come and chat for a bit for the last 20 minutes or something? Anybody in Gilded or in Discord? I'm more than happy to chat. Hi Flatzoid, could you let Nathan know what his link is under video? Still points to Discord and not Gilded. I left messages for him, but I don't know who that is, sorry. Okay, so I'm still live there. Okay, where are we?
Hello.
How's it, PJ? How you doing, mate?
Yeah, great man, great man. Yeah, you did brilliant, man. Absolutely fantastic. Obviously, there was a load of haters in there as well, but I think you did magic. He was very aggressive, wasn't he? Very aggressive.
Yeah, and that's not like Catz. That's what I said. He said at the end, he planned it that way, but no, it's because he had no argument. He was getting demolished left, right, and center.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, I think he did brilliant. He just like that was his tactic. Do you know what I mean? To try and win over the crowd, just overpower you with aggression, obfuscation, and a little bit of eye-on. Not too much eye-on, but a little bit of eye-on there. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, very aggressive.
But I still have to stick to. I have to stick to my statement when I said to Johnny he was being biased, because. He was. When every time they muted him because he's talking over me, I'm trying to give my statement out. They mute me, and then he wants him to say again what he's just saying, and I can't answer myself. So I'm going to stick with he was a bit biased, although he did a good job moderating on the fairness of that. But he was a bit biased. I'm sorry.
Yeah, definitely. I do appreciate the apology though.
Sorry?
I do appreciate the apology from Catz to you.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah, it was a nice, good apology. I don't like the dude, but it was a nice apology, do you know what I mean?
But yeah, like from I said, you saw in the opening statement where I brought 3 observable, repeatable observations, and I can even show demonstrations for them and explain the mechanics behind them, and yet he tells me I bring nothing.
No, absolutely, you did. You brought it, and that's what he said. That was just he wasn't really debating. He was arguing. I put it in the chat a few times. He wasn't really debating. He was arguing because he was that aggressive. It turned sort of argumentative. But you didn't argue. Do you know what I mean? You keep your cool like you always do. So and also Craig, when he turned around and said that about the channel and all that, doing well, you're different from Flat Earthers, you present yourself differently. That was nice to say that as well, do you know what I mean?
Well, to be fair, Craig does talk like that with me behind scenes all the time. It's just his persona. He comes online to be more aggressive because remember, he needs the content, so I know that. We actually have very civil conversations behind the scenes. So I got nothing against the guy. I mean, just like he needs content from me, I also use content from him. So it's a take situation. I don't really worry anyway what they put me up as saying dumb or something. At the end of the day, this is for the normal people to see what they can see. I mean, if they can see, the guy says you cannot do star trails on a flat earth by just showing a picture, I then go and explain to him, show a demonstration and show the mechanics behind it, and then he just totally runs away from it, shows hello to the normal person who's the dishonest one.
Yeah, a few red herrings in red herrings in there.
Quite a few.
With the star trails, he's like he's in the position of you're standing on the earth and you look up at star trails. Why would you think that the earth is moving if the sky is turning? Why would that be your position?
That was my first point. That's why I opened with it.
I don't think anybody would think that. Do you know what I mean? They've got to be dishonest about that. I mean, I know they think it's heliocentric and it's us that's moving, but they must realise that if they did a thought exercise and we were on a flat earth sort of thing and looking up at the sky, the thing spinning would be the sky. They should admit that, because surely they know that. They can't be that stupid that they don't know that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and that was my opening statement. That's why you see from the beginning he couldn't answer that simple question. I say, do you feel the movement? That's why he didn't want to answer it. That's why I moved to Star Trails, which he thought he had a got you moment, because he didn't think I actually have an explanation for it on a flat earth. Because the guys that I debate, you're going to see tomorrow with McToon as well, the guy doesn't know what perspective is. He's going to totally shit himself when he's going to bring orthographic view and say it's perspective, because that's exactly what he did in the other. And
he shit himself. Yeah, McToon really doesn't know about. He thinks he knows. It's weird, and he thinks he knows about perspective, but it's all about orthographic views with them, and I don't, because that's not true to life. You look sideways. Nobody ever looks sideways, but you look sideways. There's no shrinkage of the whatever you're looking at. When you're moving back and actually looking at it from a first-person point of view, and the buildings are shrinking. Do you know what I mean? Why would an orthographic view demonstrate that? It's not the same.
Yeah, perspective and orthographic is two different things. Orthographic is simply just angle-based. It takes no optical phenomena into account at all. Doesn't take parallax into account. Doesn't take any refraction or anything into account. It literally just takes angles. Thank you, Aaron Armstrong, for your super chat. Sorry, I just want to quickly read the super chat out. Thank you, Aaron Armstrong, for your $2 super chat. How did you go, Keith? I did very well, Aaron. I ripped him apart from the get-go. Obviously, they're going to be delusional and say, hey, I lost, but a debate is not about winning or losing. I simply just showed I can demonstrate, explain with mechanics on how it works, and totally demolish every argument he presented. Hence, that's why he got so triggered and then made an excuse at the end of the debate saying that was his strategy. No, it's because he got demolished at every turn. He thought I was going to be some kind of walkover. That was the thing. He thought it was going to be some walkover.
Yeah, it wasn't a walkover, that's for sure. He was aggressive. You kept your cool. Do you know what I mean? I think that's a that's a good tactic. You know what I mean? Just always keep your cool, no matter what the opponents do. Do you know what I mean? Because they're going to trip themselves up with being aggressive, they do it all the time, and you didn't. You know what I mean? If the chat, some people know the Globers, not they were saying that, yeah, you were stuck. You never stuck once, not once. You know what I mean? You always came back.
Did I have an answer for every single question he put out?
Absolutely.
And did he, out of all the questions I asked, I think he answered maybe 2 of them out of the whole night.
That was his obfuscation. When you were asking questions, he was obfuscating to something else every time, apart from the 2 times you said.
Yeah, and even when he answered those 2 things, it was validating my point that I made like half an hour, an hour ago.
Definitely. I think Derek's with us.
Hey Derek, how's it going, dude?
How you doing, Derek?
Doing alright.
good. I
It's gonna put you a bit
hardly
louder.
hear you. I can hear you just. I can hear you just.
Yeah, I'm
It should
gonna.
be okay.
Can you put yourself a bit louder, Derek? Yeah, I can't hear him. I don't know if he's talking. Maybe he's got issues.
He's
No,
not talking.
I'm looking at the
Okay, that's
microphone.
better.
I'm not sure. Is this better?
Yeah, much better. Thanks.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, good, good. All right. And yeah, like I've spoken to Craig like in private, and he can actually be a really respectable guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he can just, it's just when kind of put in front of an audience, sometimes he's susceptible to other people's views, and it can change his behavior. But he's getting better at noticing that, so that's good.
Yeah. I just have to say thank you again, everybody, for sending the super chats. I'm so sorry I couldn't read them out. I was a bit preoccupied. Really do appreciate the super chats, guys.
That's cool, man. Don't worry about it. Brilliant. Yeah, fantastic, man. Fantastic. Yeah, I'm so glad you kept your cool. You always do. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Yeah. But that's what I said. I'm going to have some nice cuts out of this, because every argument he's going to present, where he puts a picture up, that's why I brought Bigfoot at the end, because that was his line of evidence. I show a picture, therefore globe.
Yeah.
So I show a picture, therefore Bigfoot. So if that's his how can I put it, his level of showing evidence, then why can't I do that? Because obviously me demonstrating something, showing its mechanics and explaining it and observing it and demonstrating it over and over and repeatable is not good enough. But if he can show a picture, that's good enough. So therefore I just showed a picture too.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, you know?
I don't think they
If you know
expected that either. That's why Johnny actually had to stick up for him there and said, but yeah, I'm proving it because he's now Bigfoot. Obviously it was a joke, but still.
There was a few laughable bits, good few laughable bits as well.
Yeah. But I had fun. I have to admit, I did have fun. I didn't know what to expect with Catz, because it was the first debate I've ever had with him.
Very condescending though, isn't he? Very condescending.
Yeah, but like I said, he came in here thinking I don't know anything. He literally thought I'm going to be some kind of walkover. And as soon as he started bringing his opening statement, I thought, is this the best you got to bring?
Exactly.
My opening statement alone, I really advise people to go just listen to my opening statement, that 10 minutes, and listen to the words I said. It validates this whole entire debate against Catz, the whole argument.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You didn't even take 10 minutes. You actually forfeited some minutes.
Yeah.
You did it up quickly. Do you know what I mean? So that shows how easy it was to debunk.
I wanted to show photos and stuff as well, but like I said, I didn't know I could share screen, so I didn't.
Yeah.
That's why I said, okay, if I knew I could share screen, I would have showed photos while I was doing it, but...
Of course.
I mean,
of course.
I don't need to show a photo of the Nile River or the Suez Canal or train tracks or the Salt Flats, because I literally said it. I was talking about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was it was a good debate. I didn't like his tactics, do you know what I mean? But I liked how you played it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's best debate I've seen in a while actually. That was really good. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that.
I really appreciate you guys coming. I did enjoy it. Thanks, guys. And I mean, at one stage it was like at 100 people, and it was the most I've ever had on a stream. So, wow.
I was about to say that. It's like there was more. I mean, it leveled off at like about 60, but it did go up for a while. But 60 was brilliant.
To me, most of the night it was around 60 to 80. Yeah.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's fantastic.
But I had a lot of fun.
When the show comes up, when the notification comes up, I always go to Facebook and put it on Facebook. So I mean, so share straight away.
Yeah.
So maybe when everybody's sharing, it might be helping. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It should do anyway.
Yeah.
It's got to.
I want to know.
My Facebook for now.
You wouldn't know why on my streams. Like, look at my last stream as well. I ended stream.
Yeah.
I went to bed. I woke up at like 1:30 in the morning. I saw the stream is still live.
It was, yeah, it was. I mean, it was same the other. It's done that for 3 nights.
It
now.
does it
3
all
nights.
to me. It like stays and it shows like it's 8-9 hours long debate, which is only stream. I'm like, what the hell's going on? I ended the stream, and I see people going in the chats and chatting along, and I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
It's not even live.
That's right. Yeah, there was always at least 2 people still there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was fun. But
At one stage, it showed it 6 hours, and there was 18 people in at 6 hours.
No
I was
way.
like, what?
That's crazy.
Looking at a black screen.
The first 2 times it did that, it's because the electric cut out while you were still streaming, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, those ones
Yeah,
that
so-
those with the bacon series.
Yeah.
I know
Last
that.
night's one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm saying that was with
Yeah,
that Christopher Enoch thing because it had power surges, but that stopped it straight away. But specifically, if I end the stream, it doesn't end. I don't know why.
Strange. But it always corrects itself, though, doesn't it?
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah. Good. The thing is, when it's like that, when it doesn't cut, when it doesn't stop, you can't do a comment until it's stopped, till the live stops. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can't go in the comment section until that's over. So it takes ages. So I wonder what it is. I haven't got a clue myself. Oh, did you see the message that Catz put up? About it was
No, I didn't see.
me and you. Yeah, he put a message up on the screen about how you talk about like how we think. Because the Bible supports flat Earth. He was on about that the religious and it. We go back. We think the Bible's proof and all that. And he says it's faith-based. He put a message up on the screen on the comment section that me and you. It said something. You were talking and you mentioned my name and I think it was to do with God and flat Earth and all that. Anyway, I can't remember exactly what it said. But yeah, he put a message up. Couldn't you see that? No.
No, I wasn't really concentrating on that, but
Yeah. But you could have seen it if you wanted to.
Yeah, but I'm looking for that. I actually wanted to get the actual comment up because he was taking that whole thing out of context. Remember, this was the Scarlet, where Scarlet was claiming Earth is science, and we simply sorry, the Bible is, where's the Bible and science? So we simply just answered Scarlet to say the Bible is not scientific because it's supernatural. It's got nothing to do with science. This is what I was saying. He was totally misrepresenting the actual topic, the actual answering of the thread. So now he's saying everything we are fighting for is based on a Bible belief, which is false. Go and watch from when I started my channel. When do I actually ever bring God into the argument?
You don't bring God in. You talk about what happened, how he built the. But I mean, you understand? When I explain angles getting limited, bottom up obstruction stuff, where did I bring God into that? When I bring something refraction, where did I bring God into that? When I bring gas pressure, where did I bring God into that? Obviously tonight it's just based on the flat Earth model, but I didn't even bring God into that either. I could have brought God into tonight's debate as well. So no, I didn't once bring God into it. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've had that with Scarlett as well for about a week. It was terrible. And last night was terrible. The woman made me cry. You know what I mean? It was terrible. Yeah, she's like that. But I've had that with the Bible, and I keep telling them, yeah, we don't say the Bible is proof or scientific for flat Earth. We say it teaches it and supports it. That's what we say. We don't say that it does teach it and it supports it without a doubt. But we don't say it's a scientific book.
See, the thing is, the thing they also ignore is we also have an audience that are Christian heliocentrics, and they also want to see that side of the argument. So I'm not going to keep it away from them just because you have atheists that want to now play dirty. You understand?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I have an audience that I need to support, and I mean, I want to support every part of my audience, not just some of them. I mean, I can have Muslims on here as well if I wanted to. Is that going to change? Is that going to change how I conduct myself or the evidence I show? No.
Yeah, of course. We don't want for your channel. You don't want everybody to be flat earthers. Well, we want everybody to be flat earthers, but for the show, you don't want it just flat earthers there. You want normal normies. You want anti-flat earthers, globers. We want to be able to, well, not convert them, that's a bad word, do you know what I mean? But
we just want
to be able to show,
but that's what
show them the truth.
That's what I was trying to. Yeah, exactly. That's what the channel's here about. It's about my perspective on the world, how I take it up. I mean, I think my opening statement perfectly personified what is actually going on here. So if you actually go and you listen to what I said, those words, you would see why I'm actually a flat earther in the first instance, just like everybody else, because you wake up to the logic that you've just been indoctrinated, and when you actually look into it, you see it's false.
Absolutely.
It's as simple as that.
And there's never truer word said, you know? Absolutely.
It's as simple as that. But I like how because I remember when he brought up my 11 frames thing there, and because he saw what I said in the opening statement, he just thought, no, he's rather not going to touch that, because he clicked past there the whole time quickly in his videos, in his photos, because he didn't want to bring it up, because he knew as soon as he says taking curve away, he was conceding it's not physical curve. I mean, look at that sextant thing that he brought up. He says, oh, look, this guy knows nothing about angles because he put vertex there and saying it's a 90 degree. But he ignores the exact video I brought out a few hours after that to say, listen here guys, it came out wrong. What I meant was the 90 degree was the guy holding the sextant. Just because I didn't say the guy holding the sextant was at 90, now that said it, took it as I was saying the sextant is a 90 degree. That's just misrepresentation and dishonest. He literally shut up after that about the sextant after I brought that up. Instead of just continuing to say, yes, sorry, I misrepresented, he just totally just left it.
That's right. He didn't go into detail about the sextant because he can't, because it just doesn't work on a spherical, on a globe. Do you know what I mean? It can only work on level to get that angles right. You know, it just doesn't work.
I actually want to show you the math I've been doing for that McToon challenge. By the way, I'll send it to you tomorrow. Because I'm doing everything without any globe, guys. At all. That's why it's taking me so long. I'm literally creating my own math for it as well.
Brilliant. We've got somebody else. We've got somebody called Fazzy joined.
Oh.
There you go. Can you hear me?
Hey, how's it going?
All right, sound. Yeah, nice one.
Yeah, you
this is my first time doing anything, but I've literally just signed up to Discord, so it's good time.
Just give me 2 seconds. I just want to go to the bathroom quickly.
Yeah, I'm good. I was just, I was just like, so disappointed. I was a little bit disappointed, Flatzoid. I don't know why. I just felt like even though I'm agreeing with everything you say, I just felt like they got the better of you. Is that a bad take? I don't know.
I was just thinking about it. I mean, I don't think so. I mean, you're absolutely, of course, you're allowed to say that. Do you know what I mean? That's your opinion.
I'm not going to lie, I'm new to it, so I'm new to it all and stuff. You know,
I think you probably think that is he was aggressive. He's written in Flats is not aggressive. Do you know what I mean? Flats keeps his composure. So it's maybe because of that you kind of think that, because he was very aggressive and pushy. But I mean, I disagree with you. But of course you're allowed your opinion. Do you know what I mean?
Hey guys, sorry I'm back. What did I miss?
Oh, did you disappear?
Yeah, so I was just quickly into the bathroom.
I didn't know. What's his name? Fazzy was saying, even though he agrees with everything you say, he kind of thinks they got the better of you. And I says like, I disagree. Do you know what I mean? You're allowed
everybody has their own opinions.
And maybe you think that because you kept your composure and what's his name? Catz was very aggressive. So maybe it's because of that.
Yeah. Fozzie, I don't know if you've watched some of my debates before.
This, so, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Fozzie,
talk to him, Flats.
Yeah, so Fozzie, I don't know if you've watched some of my debates before. I have a certain way of trying to get people to say a certain thing. And that's what I was trying to do. So, yeah, I might... But like I said, yeah, everybody has their own opinion. I know I demolished the guy from left, right and centre. I mean, if you watch Catz debates, doesn't matter from how much years ago, he's never been this aggressive and triggered before. So that's why I said I feel honoured about that, because that means he was in a hole and he knew it. That's why he was stressing, because usually he's kind of scripted and all calm and everything. he had to go totally against his script tonight because I had an answer for every single thing he was throwing at me. He didn't even think I knew what ionized gas is. Come on.
Yeah, true.
That's a fundamental to you, Katz. For somebody like me, it's like I'm not scientifically minded to you. I'm more like logically minded. You know what I mean? I go with logic now. I mean, I know a little bit of science, but not like you, Flats. Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, because a few times you saw
Say, I'd just like to. I'd probably say like I'm probably in the lower IQ of some things like that. I'm a joiner, and I also work as I did work until a couple of years ago. I had to quit the job to look after my son, but I went from being a joiner to doing air conditioning and fixing air conditioning systems. So I know about gases and things like that.
Oh yeah, you know about thermodynamics then?
Well, that means you're not a lower IQ. You know your stuff. To be able to do work like that, you've got to have some kind of intellect. Do you know what I mean? So you're not silly, man. You're not a lower IQ.
I do listen to hours and hours of this stuff, and then sometimes I'm like, I haven't got the foggiest.
But Fozzie, you.
Yes, carry on, Pat.
Sorry, but I'm saying, Fozzie, then you should more or less have a grasp on the thermodynamic systems. Then, if you're working with, if you worked with the air cons.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
You see. So I mean, just knowing that basics alone, if
just that bit, it is literally just it all comes down to like just basic understandings of what you know, what you can see, and what you can observe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, just that
absolutely.
basic alone. To anybody, let's say you can go to any person in that field, and you would explain to them the Earth is flat, and you take it with that argument. Obviously, their clogs are going to turn, and they're going to think, listen, yeah, something's not right. It's just even that simple, basic argument. That alone would turn me from being a Glober.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. See, I don't know what you just said. I mean, I've got a basic idea, but I don't know. I haven't got a full knowledge in that. So, you know more than that. You know. Yeah, we've got someone else. We've got. So
yeah.
You've got intellect, man. You're not silly.
Yeah, Fozzie, you have to be intellectual to be able to work on those systems, for sure. Hey, Travis, how you doing?
Hey.
I forgot about your your question for him. Sorry, I got so sidetracked. I ended up forgetting.
No, well, whatever. It's no big deal. I mean, I couldn't keep listening to that guy. As soon as you got muted, I left.
Yeah, they were kind of biased towards me, but yeah, that's what I expected. Because it's the first time I actually met this Johnny guy. I don't even know where he's from.
Does he have a show? Or
yeah, he has a show, yeah. He's got like 12K subscribers or something.
Wow. Yeah, he let Catz just ad hom me like 3 times in a row. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, and then like I was saying, he starts talking. He asks me a question while I'm trying to answer. He overtalks me, and then he mutes us both. And then he wants Catz to talk again so I can try, and he just does the same circle. That's why at the end of the day I said to him, but you're being biased. You're not letting me get my statements out. And then, yeah. But what can I do? I did try and set this up with modern day debates, but apparently FTFE and Catz don't go there anymore. They do not like Kunz anymore. I don't know why. I mean, they always used to go on there. And I think Kunz is an awesome guy. James Kunz is really a good moderator.
Yeah, I mean, I like James. I've been on there a couple of times, but it's not really formal. Like, I felt like I felt like you guys were more formal in terms of the presentation so far. But once it got to the Q&A, he just ransacked you.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting that to happen as soon as it got to the open dialogue. That's why I just played along with it. I was like, okay, what do I have to lose?
But ultimately, I think honestly, it's hard not to be biased to a certain extent. But once you got to the let's see, I'm trying to think of. It became evident to me that when he tried to call you out on not sticking to the agreement, once he pushed that button and then you came back with your evidence, I saw, at least to me, I felt like you had actually done
I've done more than I brought more than he brought. I brought more than he's literally just showed a picture on screen, made a declaration on that picture. I went and demonstrated that he showed on screen to debunk it with the mechanics on how it works, and I didn't present anything. How does that work?
Yeah, man. He is a polished rhetoric. You know, he comes at you. He fires fast, and he speaks with a lot of conviction, right? So he's trying to persuade you simply by the fact that he can present his material so fast that you can't process it, and then he sounds like he knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's doing. He's a wizard.
Yeah, but that's why I say I feel very honored though that he got so triggered with me, because it's not the way he usually debates. So from the get-go, he was triggered because he saw I'm not going to be some pushover, walkover like the usual guys he debates. Because he's been actually asking me for a debate for years now.
Yeah.
And he thought I was always scared of him. That's not the case. But yeah, it shows you why he wasn't expecting this. He thought I'm going to be some kind of weird pushover that knows nothing. That's why he always tried to bring in the I got you kind of things. And every time he tried to bring I got you, I knew what he was talking about.
Yeah, it's always that. Yeah, he wants a gotcha. Hey, listen, do you know the channel The Missing Curve research?
Yeah, Bierman.
Have you seen his last video where he
with the sun?
Yeah.
I wanted to watch. I haven't watched it yet.
The one where he uses the bowl, the glass bowl.
Yeah, it's the latest one. I haven't watched it. I actually want to watch it. Maybe I can quickly show it now.
Yeah, you need to watch it. We should watch it right now because I think it's going to be a game changer.
What's it? The Missing Curve, I think.
It's not the one that was just like a minute long because I think he's had a new one, but it was one.
Yeah, sunset behind the physical object on the side. I think no, that was another one.
No, that's not the one.
It's this one, Sunset Breakaways Proof of Contact Experiment. 8 hours ago. Yeah, I wanted to watch this. I think if you guys haven't already, do subscribe to Bierman. He really, really has awesome stuff. He's like...
Hey, listen to this. You ready?
Yeah?
So he was trying to make some contacts with the local universities to see if he could just talk to somebody. And the person that he contacted with got back and said, yeah, you know what, we'll make time for you next week. Well, that was yesterday.
Yeah.
He shows up at this school to a full classroom.
Wow.
He didn't even know. Like, he thought he was just going to talk to a couple of educators.
Yeah.
They had a full classroom of students, and he spoke for 45 minutes.
Wow. That's awesome.
And just laid
because he actually wanted to talk to me sometime, so I'm definitely going to talk to him about that. I think that was quite a cool thing. It would have been great if he could have documented it though.
He has it recorded. There was a student who recorded it, and he sent Bierman the recording, and so Bierman's going to take a listen to make sure it's got good quality and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm showing his video on screen now. You see that? How awesome that looks. But that's why I say...
I don't see where you're sharing it.
It's on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just watching it through on YouTube. Really awesome stuff. But he is doing great demonstrations. But that's the difference between the flat earthers and the globers. The flat earthers actually go out and demonstrate what they think it happens. Oh, check it out with the torch.
Yeah, wait till it gets to the end, man. It's gonna knock you on your butt.
Because I first got into his channel when he started explaining the different planes in the camera through that presentation. That's when I first subscribed to him. But the demonstrations he's been doing after that, it just gets better and better every time. And I think he's in Cape Town, so he gets an awesome sunset and sunrise. Wow.
Yeah, like I say, it was very condescending, very aggressive. I love how you kept your composure, man.
Thanks.
Excellent.
Yeah, I do try. I do try. I mean, I almost got a bit triggered at a stage there when the guys were being biased towards me, but then I decided no.
You're bound to, but that shows your will and strength that you could contain yourself. Because I could to a point if I was debating and that, but I think if I got a little bit angry, I'd lose my crap. You know what I mean? I'd lose my shit. I mean, I'm a placid guy. When I lose it, I lose it. So yeah, but you do brilliant, because there's times when I watch these debates, I think, oh, he might go mad here. He might go mad, and no, you don't.
But you see, that's one of their tactics, though. I've looked at this through the years. That's one of their tactics. They want people to rage quit so they can have an automatic so-called win. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Because then they say, oh look, he rage quitted, so therefore I won. And then the audience doesn't actually look at the rest of the argument. They just look, oh, I want to see when he rage quits. That's it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, brilliant. That ending is great, Travis. Definitely shows like the sun would be moving underwater with lensing.
Yeah, I'm going to try to do it this weekend. I don't know. Did you see? I can't remember if you made a comment or not. Did you see when I did that same stuff with the boats?
Oh, yeah, I saw that, yeah.
Put up,
with those two boats where you moved it across the table.
Yeah.
Very awesome stuff. Where's that video link? Is it in YouTube, is it?
I'm going to put it in again. Travis, yes. I'm going to put your video in as well. I'm just going to look for it quickly. I'm going to look for Travis's video as well quickly. I'm going to stick that in.
Are you still there, Derek?
Yeah, he's very quiet.
Yep, I'm here.
Oh, he's there, I see him. You good? You good?
Must I post both of those, Travis?
If you're gonna, I put it in the live stream chat. I put the one in live stream chat.
Oh yeah, I put the other one in live stream chat.
In Discord.
The proof of concept. The area is the lens which magnifies, displaces, and obstructs.
I'll get it from Discord.
It's the second boat one, the latest boat one actually.
Yeah, the second one is the shorter one. I try to make the one is 30 minutes, and I tried to make a shorter one that was 11.
Yeah. I mean, I even wanted to
say, if you guys can hear me,
yeah,
I'm just like I'm gobsmacked how people are just sucked in by just by everything that I've been getting into recently. Is like how they're sucked into mathematical gobbledygook. It's just
but that's
like you guys say, it's pseudoscience. It's just gobbledygook.
But that's exactly
they
what
wrap
it is.
it up in mathematics, and it's ridiculous.
But you see, the whole globe is just based on mathematical faith. Because
Exactly,
they have an equation, and then they say that equation is scientific. It's not. There's nothing scientific about an equation. It's pseudoscience, and that's why they say science doesn't prove things, because their pseudoscience gets disproven every day after something that's supposedly been validated.
Of course.
That's why the evolutionists have such a large problem as well, because it gets disproven every day that was supposed to be validated. Evolution is falling down the drain. You must see it. You must see it.
And that's what led me down this road. At first it's like I've never believed in the moon landing, and then evolution. I started looking into evolution, and I started finding out things about that, and it just led me down this road. And it's just everything's just a lie and just gobbledygook, and it's amazing how they've like wrapped it up in such a tight little bow that they've got the whole world thinking this shit. It's incredible, really.
Well,
if I... It doesn't want to play, Travis. I'm sorry, it's just buffering.
Travis, go on, man. I just make
a no, you don't. Yeah, you don't have to play it. It's a bit long, but You know what I was saying was if I had like the drive to try to figure out how to say what I see in math, you know what I mean? That's all I would need to do to prove my claim for proximate looming. You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
I do think that it's possible. I could create a mathematical language to describe what I think is happening out there.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely think that that's possible.
Yeah, but even if you do that, they're still gonna just say no, it's not correct because it doesn't go with their biased narrative. So even if you do that, you're just gonna be wasting your time because you're pushing it against religious zealots.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. Yeah.
That's why I haven't bothered to go and also make mathematical models for things, because why? Why must a person do that if they're just going to anyway just disclude it in the end of the day just because they are bigots?
Oh, yeah, that is a good word for them actually. Definitely. Yeah, the math works, hence nonsense.
And then we can debunk the math by taking reality and showing how math is not reality.
You know, of course it's not. Of course it's not. It's crazy to think so, isn't it? When you sit and think about it, I mean, when we were indoctrinated by it, it was just there. I mean, we believed it, like, and it's just when the penny drops and you see it, and you stand back and watch it, it's like, how did I even believe that, you know?
Yeah.
How?
That's what it's for me. It's like I've never been a believer in the moon landings, and then again, this is like I've literally just signed on to Discord to talk to you guys for the first time today, but I've never believed it. I've had an open mind about everything, but as I've got further into this, I'm just amazed at how the whole world's been corrupted by maths and bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys. You guys.
Tainted by bullshit.
Sorry, you guys can chat further. I definitely have to go sleep. I have to get up for a few hours in work, and then tomorrow night's gonna be late again with the Toon stream.
Yeah. I'm going to do that as well. It's about what time is it here?
It's 12:30 by me.
I'm going to drop out, guys. You can carry talking. I'm just going to drop out, and it was
Yeah, I got 4 hours before I need to wake up. So.
Excellent debate, man. Excellent. Like, see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully, Fozzie, maybe you can come in tomorrow again. It'll be great to chat again.
Thanks a lot, pal.
Bless you guys, everyone. See you later.
You guys are rock. Again, thanks for all your support, guys.
Derek.
Appreciate it.
Derek, Fizzy, Platz. Good night. Bless.
Cheers. And everyone in chat, thank you for coming. Really do appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for everybody that super chatted and just typed in and just shared the show and liked. Thank you all. You guys do rock. Till tomorrow night. God bless.